I won't touch your stuff. Test, test. Okay, now it's on.
Professionals during being streamed during such a contract.
Marty, whenever you're ready. No, but are you ready? Whenever you're ready.
You ready?
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 Okay.
The meeting.
Oh, Kate is coming. Let's get her situated.
For Kate.
Good evening and welcome to Homedale Township Reorganizational Planning Board meeting. Today is January 13th, 2026. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and JSA 10-410, I hereby announce that the adequate notice and electronic notice of this meeting was provided in a notice dated January 18th, 2025, was sent to Asbury Park Press, Two River Times, posted on the bulletin board and on the main access door to Town Hall, filed in the clerk's office and posted on the township website, www.homedeltownship.com. Just for the information, today's meeting will have two parts. Part A is reorganizational meeting, and part two, that's when the application that was carried from December 2025 will be discussed. Please rise for Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence with military to have been voted and killed in action. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. At this moment, I would ask Mr. Flagger to swear in our two newly appointed board members, which are Mr. Michael Antonucci and Mr. Gary Wenham. I gave you.
Yeah, put 'em back.
Oh, back here? Okay.
Why don't you give these to one of you guys, so you can share that and read and follow. It's just easier. Sure.
Here is,
The guys, you want to drink over the hand? Yeah, you can both do it at the same time. Oh, you got the body?
I'm prepared.
Official. No, at the same time.
Same time.
Yeah. So I state your name.
I, Michael Antonacci,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of New Jersey,
and of the state of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office
of the office
of the Homedale Township Planning Board
of the Homedale Township Planning Board
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome everyone.
Mr. Connolly,
Here.
Mr. Cargan is absent, Mr. Bunderham,
Present.
congratulations, Mr. Fagan,
Here.
Mr. Mann,
Here.
Mr. Antonucci,
Here.
congratulations, Mr. Bell, Ms. Pausas,
Here.
Mr. Silberman,
Here.
Mr. Dorse, Mr. Dorse is absent, and Mr. Robbins is absent. At this moment, I would ask if there's any nomination for the chairman of the board.
I'd like to nominate Scott Silberman.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Mr. Bell, if he's an alternate.
Oh, thank you, Marty. Mr. Bell will be seated instead of Mr. Carrigan. Mr. Bell, you can just stay there, but you'll be voting. So motioned, Ms. Plaus's motion, Mr. Mann seconded. Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
Mr. Vanderham?
Yes.
Mr. Fagan?
Yes.
Mr. Mann?
Yes.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes.
Mr. Bell? Ms. Plausas?
Yes.
Mr. Silberman?
Yes.
And Mr. Dorse. Motion passed. Mr. Silberman, congratulations.
Thank you.
You can take over at this point.
All right. Do we have any nominations for the vice chairman at this time?
I would like to nominate Mr. Mann.
Yeah.
I'm getting up
Second.
my mic.
Please make sure the microphone works.
Yeah, Joyce.
Oh, I'd like to nominate Mr. Mann.
I'll second that.
Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
Mr. Vanderham?
Yes.
Mr. Fagan?
Yes.
Mr. Mann?
Yes.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes.
Mr. Bell? Ms. Plausas?
Yes.
Mr. Silberman?
Yes.
And Mr. Dorse. Thank you. Motion passed. Congratulations.
Gotcha. All right, for planning board secretary, we have to
We
nominate
have to
Irina?
nominate Arena.
Okay. So I'll,
I'd
no-
like to bring you back.
Thank you.
all right, so I guess I'll nominate Irina for the planning, I'm not even gonna try your last name, but Irina for the planning board secretary. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
Mr. Vanderham?
Yes.
Mr. Fagan?
Yes.
Mr. Mann?
Yes.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes.
Mr. Bell? Ms. Plausas?
Yes.
Mr. Silberman?
Yes.
Mr. Dorse. Motion passed. Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, well, now we have the executive session. If anyone would like to have one, I'll throw it out there. I don't know, for those who are new, I think that's when we just go upstairs and we
That's correct.
talk amongst
Personnel.
ourselves, personnel on the board, so if no one does, we can get right to the meeting. Okay. All right, so we got appointments for 2026. The first appointment would be the planning board attorney. I'm bad with these titles, I believe that's Marty, is that correct?
Yep.
Yep. So we just make a motion to,
Please, motion and second.
yeah, we make a motion to accept Harder and Flager as the planning board attorney. Do we have a second?
Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
And Mr. Vanderham?
Yes.
Mr. Fagan?
Yes.
Mr. Mann?
Yes.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes.
Mr. Bell? Ms. Plausas? Mr. Silberman?
Yes.
Mr. Dorse. Motion passed. Marty, congratulations.
Thank you, members.
All right. All right, so special consulting attorney, who would that be?
No appointment
Do
for that
later,
yet.
That's right, we'll do that later. The planning board engineer, I believe that's PS&S, right? Make a motion to
I make a motion.
accept them. Second, anyone?
Second.
Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
Mr. Vanderham?
Yes.
Mr. Fagan?
Yes.
Mr. Mann?
Yes.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes.
Mr. Bell? Ms. Plausas?
Yes.
Mr. Silberman?
Yes.
Mr. Dorse. Motion
Yes.
passed. Congratulations, PSNS.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, the special consulting will be done at a later date. Now for the planning board planner, we have Phillips, Price, Greigel, Lahaney, Hughes.
Keller.
Oh,
Didn't get
it's
updated.
Keller?
It's an official, part of the firm
Oh,
now.
now blame Irina.
Congratulations.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Motion to accept them?
I second.
Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
Mr. Vanderham?
Yes.
Mr. Fagan?
Yes.
Mr. Mann?
Yes.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes.
Mr. Bell? Ms. Plausas?
Yes.
Mr. Silberman?
Yes.
Mr. Dorse. Motion passed. Congratulations, Kate.
Thank you all. Looking forward to another year.
Yep. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Craig. And Marty, of course, for your service. Okay, number 4 on the agenda is resolutions. Providing for annual notice of 26 meetings pursuant to Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act. That's one, right? We're all good on that one, Marty? Nothing to move on that or anything, right? And then the awarding contracts for professional services, which we just did, right? Right?
Trying to follow, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. All right, and now we gotta adopt the planning board rules and regs. Make a motion to accept.
So we have to, do we do the annual notice? We have to,
Yes, so I would just like to make a comment with annual notice. There was a change with the state law, which we have to comply, starting March 1st. There will be no need to post in newspapers our notices. They will just be posted on our website. So this correction, I guess it reflects the resolution. So that's what we will be adopting.
right, so we have to move that resolution.
All right, so we gotta, all right, so make
Is
a
there a
motion to.
formal one? Do you have a formal resolution for them, or just a verbal?
No, it's part of the, yes,
Just a verbal.
just the verbal, I
Okay.
guess.
Just a motion to accept.
Motion.
Accept the new
All right,
notice rules.
Then I'll make a motion to accept the new notice rules. Anyone second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
Mr. Vanderham?
Yes.
Mr. Fagan?
Yes.
Mr. Mon?
Yes.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes.
Mr. Bell? Ms. Plausas? Mr. Silberman?
Yes.
And Mr. Dorse. Motion passed, thank you.
Okay, and what about, so the contracts, we did?
We did that.
We did that already, right? Okay, so that's okay. All right, so now we have the planning board rules and regulations for 2026. Do we have a motion to accept those? I think you just changed it to reflect the.
That's
the-
correct.
The posting of the notices, yeah. If
I
not-
just did motion and second.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. Who wants a second? Joyce is.
Joyce, second. Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
Mr. Vanderham?
Yes.
Mr. Fagan?
Yes.
Mr. Mon?
Yes.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes.
Mr. Bell? Ms. Plausas? Mr. Silberman?
Yes.
And Mr. Dorse. Motion passed, thank you.
Okay. So number 6, the Asbury Park Press.
No, we did that already.
Oh, you
We
said-
just,
okay.
we need minutes.
Okay, just, all right. So, we have the public meeting minutes from 12/16/2025. We have a motion to accept them.
Any comments, corrections?
Anyone? Nope.
Okay, the motion and second, please.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Thank you. Eligible to vote, Mr. Connolly,
Yes.
Mr. Fagan,
Yes.
Ms. Plausas, Mr. Silberman,
Yes.
Mr. Mon,
Yes.
Mr. Dorse. That's it, motion passed. Thank you. For the record, minutes for December 16, 2025 were successfully adopted.
Okay. Okay, now the one item on the agenda is item number 1, PB 2025-TG, 23 Main Street Urban Renewal LLC, the applicant, 23 Main Street, Homedale, New Jersey. Block 13, Lot 15, has applied to the board for the property located at, which is the former Vonage headquarters, the property, which is owned by 23 Main Street Propco LLC, an affiliate for the applicant for preliminary and final major subdivision, preliminary major site plan and final major site plan for Phase 1, known as Azura at Homedale. Okay, at this time, I believe I'm going to turn it over to,
Yeah, unless
Well, let's-
Mr. Kem has anything to say, we finished the applicant's presentation, and we're now going to open to the objector's counsel for his witnesses.
That's correct. I have no opening comments.
Okay.
Thank you.
You can take that off the stand if you want to sit, or you can stand there.
Nelson. My name is Ron Gajarowski. My name's Ron Gajarowski. I'm an attorney. I have offices. My name is Ron Gajarowski. I'm an attorney with offices in Red Bank, New Jersey. I am appearing this evening on behalf of a resident of Homedale.
can everyone hear him back there?
Everybody
No.
hear me?
Is his mic on?
Is that okay or what? We're all
You gotta
set?
ask them. I could hear you facing me, so
Should I take it out and speak
just
into
try
it?
and,
Speak loud.
that's right.
Is this better?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. My name is Ron Gajarowski. I'm an attorney with offices in Red Bank, New Jersey. I appeared at the prior hearings. I've listened to the testimony of the applicant's witnesses, and I'm prepared to proceed forward this evening. I have brought with me 3 witnesses, along with my client. I represent Christine Solares, who's a resident of your community, and I have brought 3 witnesses. The first witness will be Daniel Nachman. He is a scientist as well as an engineer. My second witness will be Barry Sutherland, who is an engineer. And my final witness will be Peter Steck, who is a licensed planner of the state of New Jersey. And I will call them in that sequence. How are we going to, you want my witnesses to be here and I'll sit over there? How would you like to do this?
How, if they want to sit at your table or they want to stand, that's up to them.
All right.
Whatever's more comfortable for.
Well, how about, would you object if my witness sat at your table? No, no. As we're all getting older, we have to sit rather than stand.
What's that? That's okay.
Thank you for your courtesy. Okay, I'll call first Mr. Nickel.
Yes, be
Good
sworn in.
Yeah, we're going to swear you in first.
Sure.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do,
Okay, just spell your name for the record.
sure. My name is Daniel, my name is Daniel Nachman, Nachman. Apologize ahead of time, my statement's about 10 minutes long.
Go.
My statement's about 10 minutes long, just want to let you know. Thank you for
Get his-
giving me the
his
opportunity.
background. So just give a brief of your background.
Oh, I will, it's right here.
Just 1 second, okay? I have retained you in this matter to give testimony, have I not?
Yes, you have.
And you're being compensated for being present this evening?
Yes.
Can you give to the board just a brief synopsis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
Irene,
started
he's got-
again.
He's got Craig's mic.
I'm on now. I'm on now. I wasn't on, I'm on now. Okay, thank you. Mr. Nachman, you had been retained by me to give testimony in this matter this evening, have you not?
Yes, I have.
And you're being compensated for that.
Yes.
You hope so, right?
Yes.
Okay. Having said that, were you present at the prior public hearings which took place with regard to this application?
I was at the last meeting and I watched the videotapes of the prior meetings.
So you're fully familiar with the testimony that was given by the applicant?
Yes.
Now, did you also have occasion to review any and all documents which are part of the record of this proceeding by way of reports by the professionals and whatever else it may be that's in the file?
I've reviewed many reports. I don't know if it's all of them, but I've reviewed many, yes.
Okay. Now, by way of your background, have you appeared before planning boards or boards of adjustment previously in various municipalities?
Yes, I have.
And how many occasions would you say?
At least 7 or 8.
Okay. How about with regard to your being retained at any time or employed by a municipality?
Yes, I have.
In what capacity?
As an environmental consultant.
Okay, fine. I would ask that this witness be accepted as an expert witness in this matter.
In
In
which?
what field?
In the field of hydrogeology.
Okay, look, I'm not going to object. I don't know if you really explained your background, but I have no objection.
I have an explanation beginning of my statement.
Yeah,
I'll give a
okay.
brief synopsis of my background. Sure. As Mr. Gazarovski says, I'm here on behalf of Kristen Solaro. I have 2 degrees in geology. I've been a groundwater scientist working for government, commercial, and industrial clients for 46 years, devoting my career to the study of aquifers, the development and protection of groundwater supplies, and mostly the investigation and cleanup of soil and groundwater contamination. I've been doing that work in New Jersey for the last 40-plus years. I've been teaching courses on practical aspects of hydrogeology through Rutgers' continuing education program for the last 20-plus years. In my volunteer life, I sat on my township's environmental commission for 14 years, the planning board for 8, and volunteered with the ambulance unit for 6. I've looked over the plans for the proposed development and listened to the testimony of the previous planning board meetings. My focus as a hydrogeologist is on the proposed method of discharging partially treated wastewater from the proposed development. The applicant proposes to use the same disposal method employed when the site was an office building. Discharge to the same percolation lagoon 6 months of the year, and discharge of partially treated sewage to the east branch of Willowbrook during the winter months. You've heard a lot of testimony about how Willowbrook is a tributary of the Swimming River Reservoir, which is a source of drinking water for more than 300,000 Monmouth County residents, including Homedale. And this percolation lagoon is only about 150 feet from the center line of Willowbrook, within the stream corridor, the 300-foot buffer referred to by a planning board member last month, and the stream's floodway. The lagoon and treatment system were constructed and permitted around 1977, less than a decade after the NJDEP was formed, before the current stream classifications were in place, before a lot of the regulatory framework that's in place today was constructed. The lagoon and discharge to a Category 1 stream, a tributary of a drinking water reservoir, would not be approved today if this were coming before the DEP as a new proposal and a new project. In simple terms, this is a terrible way and an awful location to discharge partially treated sewage from the proposed project, and importantly, is not consistent with Homedale's own wastewater management plan. Homedale had the vision in 2002 to take inventory of its resources and passed a comprehensive wastewater management plan. This plan was crafted for inclusion in the Monmouth County Water Quality Management Plan in accordance with the DEP's water quality management regulations and was approved by the DEP. The plan states, quote, wastewater discharge in this area, which is referring to the southern slope where the unsewered area where this project is located, is limited to subsurface disposal systems as defined and outlined in Chapter 199, and it gives a citation, and New Jersey Pollutant Discharge Elimination System regulations. The Township Committee retains the wastewater planning authority for the DGW to discharge to groundwater areas and other non-sewered areas of the township. Subsurface disposal of treated wastewater allows for the infiltration of the wastewater through subsurface soils, which act as a filter to remove contaminants as they migrate through the surface water body. Unfortunately, it's much simpler to apply for a renewal of an existing permit. In that renewal, the DEP doesn't require all the same information that a new application would require. It's highly unlikely the DEP would approve this as a new application. An application for a new lagoon would require soil borings to define the geology, percolation tests to see that the soils have the receiving capacity. The applicant would be required to submit data showing they've determined the depth to the seasonally high water table to see if there's enough room for that wastewater to infiltrate. A similar project was denied on the other side of the same brook because it was determined that there wasn't enough freeboard, enough space between the seasonally high water table and the bottom of the lagoon. This lagoon was built and originally permitted so long ago, I don't know if soil borings were ever drilled or mounding calculations ever provided. The geologic formations in this part of Monmouth County are characterized by clays and silt layers that can impede infiltration, and there's ironstone, sands that are cemented by iron oxide, where there's no percolation. We do know from the DEP's own website that when this lagoon was operating, there were numerous violations and significant fines were assessed, over $150,000 worth of fines. The violations included exceedances of groundwater quality parameters required in the permits, including sodium, phosphorus, nitrogen in the form of ammonia, several metals, and coliform bacteria. Phosphorus and nitrogen are nutrients, and high concentrations in surface water can create algal blooms, which can be toxic and render surface water unfit for drinking. The proposed treatment plant will remove solids and hopefully kill all the bacteria with the upgrades that are proposed, but it will not remove the dissolved constituents like phosphorus, ammonia, and sodium. And the discharge to groundwater permits and discharge to surface water permits, if renewed, will not require testing for several other chemicals, the forever chemicals that we're hearing about, the perfluorinated compounds that are clothes and household products, and certainly won't have any standards for pharmaceuticals. This is a senior living community. Eventually there'll be a nursing station. So all the antidepressants, steroids, hormones, all that will go right through the wastewater treatment plant into your drinking water. As I mentioned earlier, an application for a new application for a lagoon would certainly require all the testing that I described earlier. But because this is a renewal, that information isn't required. And I think it's important to do a reality check. I listened to the last 2 months' meetings. The board members are correct that the wastewater discharges to the environment are under the jurisdiction of the DEP. and there's a presumption they're making sure that environmental protections will be carefully monitored. But the reality is the DEP is an agency that is understaffed, overstretched, and has lost an awful lot of institutional knowledge in the last 5 years. And they don't always assign experienced, adequately trained scientists to evaluate the complicated technical aspects of many of these applications. We know of an example in Colts Neck where the DEP allowed an engineer to self-certify, not checking any calculations. The mounding calculations were based on erroneous assumptions, not even consistent with the applicant's own boring logs. So the DEP didn't catch all the mistakes, errors, and potential for failure. More importantly, the DEP has already failed to protect your drinking water, as evidenced by repeated renewals of Vonage's discharge to surface water permits, despite the fact there were frequent ongoing violations, exceedances of the permit limits for a range of contaminants, and several of these contaminants will not be treated by the upgrades proposed to the system. The applicant says they'll meet all NJDEP standards, and from the scant information they've provided about the proposed upgrades, it's possible the revamped system will filter out enough particulates so they don't repeat the exceedances for total suspended solids. And the new UV system may kill enough bacteria so they don't repeat the coliform exceedances. But the proposed upgrades, and my colleague will speak more knowledgeably about than I will, did not include any component to remove the soluble components for which Vonage had repeated violations: metals, sodium, ammonia, phosphorus. So here's the question. Yeah, the DEP has jurisdiction over discharges to groundwater and surface water. But I believe the township has the authority to require this new development, this new project, to comply with your own wastewater management plan. You don't have to approve this permit grandfathering a vintage 1970 scheme. Can't you require something that is more protective, allows development to go forward, but also protects your drinking water? Consistent with your thoughtful wastewater management plan, this project should be, quote, limited to subsurface disposal systems as defined and outlined in Chapter 199 and the New Jersey Pollutant Discharge Elimination System regulations. This means subsurface septic tanks and leach fields, or some other engineered subsurface disposal system. And they should be located as far from Willow Brook as possible, so you have the benefit of that filtration of the subsurface soils. For that matter, the treatment building should probably also be moved out of the stream corridor so it's not subject to the damage that would be caused by a large flooding event. We all seen the devastation that flooding can cause when an area gets many inches of rain dumped in a short period of time in New Jersey and elsewhere. Your wastewater management plan states the Township Committee retains the wastewater planning authority for the DGW areas and other non-sewered areas of the township. So I would humbly suggest that this board consult with council and determine whether you can require this applicant. But it's my professional opinion that treated wastewater of this project should never be discharged to Willow Brook, and that the current lagoon is located in a terrible place within the stream corridor and therefore vulnerable to flood events and too close to the creek to allow for any appreciable filtration of contaminants as the wastewater migrates to the brook. This is a new project and should not include grandfathering of a decades-old disposal system that has failed, not only because of inadequacies of the treatment system, but because of its location. Can you require this applicant to manage their wastewater in a more protective way, consistent with current best practices and your own wastewater management plan? It's been almost 50 years since this plant was constructed and the wastewater disposal plant for the single office building was established. Today, there are much better, safer alternatives to this and any other applicant for the management of partially treated wastewater. Homedale has the authority to require any new development of the site to comply with your wastewater management plan and current best practices. And if you decide to approve this project, I believe you should impose conditions that protect its residents and all the residents of Monmouth County who rely on the Swimming River Reservoir for their drinking water. Take any questions.
Yeah, before I respond, we have Don here from, I forget, is it CME? What's
PSS.
CSS, right,
Paula
PSS.
Sokolowski and
So Dan, we need to swear him in?
We do.
Yeah, just stand up, or let's swear you in, Dan.
So you haven't been here before, so swear you in. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. And again, state your name and record, your name and spell it for the record.
If you could just pick up the microphone.
Is it on?
It's not on.
Is the red light on?
Underneath.
It's not on. You want to go sit at that table there, maybe, Don?
He's got it.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Hello?
Yes,
Yep.
that's
Here
good.
we're- Yeah, Don Whitehead, PSNS,
Go loud.
WHITEHEAD.
Swear, man.
No, he's been sworn in.
Oh,
so
okay.
ask him if there's any.
Yeah, do you have any questions or comments to respond to that, Don?
I've worked in the wastewater group, very similar to.
Real close.
Oh, hello? Yep. I've worked with PSNS for some 38 years, doing a number of water, wastewater infiltration, both the back to groundwater and some surface water discharge permitting. And there's, a lot of credence in what Dan has said, and of course the DEP is going to be reviewing all of this information that goes in. We are aware that. Oh, can you hear that? Okay.
All right.
There we go. We're aware that there's an Egyptes permit out there. It's in the process, we understand, of being renewed out there by the DEP. But the DEP, we hope would look at this with regards to the C1, the changing use of the site and so forth, and be proactive in raising these questions with the applicant.
Unfortunately, that is a hope, but it's not a reality.
Yep.
A resident spoke to the DEP today. She's been asking for months for copies of the applicant submittals. She submitted OPA requests. To date, they've not been provided, but she was told that an application to renew the discharge to groundwater permit has been received.
Yes.
It only provided a site plan for phase 1, so it didn't represent the full project. And it provided some minimal information with some tables, and the DEP said it was administratively complete and they're not going to require any additional information. They said it's an established permit and they don't need anything else. So they're going to rubber stamp this renewal. They're not going to look at all the issues about
That's not
First
true.
of all, I object to this testimony because it's hearsay. You did not speak with
I-
DEP. This
d-
is
d-
third hand, fourth hand, so I would object to this whole line of testimony.
Okay. Well, I mean, this was a hope and a wish. I'm responding to that.
No, but I understand, Don, also, correct me if I'm wrong, that when this goes to DEP, they're going to have a whole bunch of information that they're going to require from the applicant, right?
Yes.
And then at some point, you said, I heard something about they're going to have their own public open meeting where these issues can be addressed at that time.
Typically, yes. Yeah, for new permits, that's definitely a requirement. For the new permits, there's definitely a requirement. However, sometimes during the renewal cycles, they don't. Right. And this would be one to bring up with them.
I will repeat. The DEP's already failed to protect your drinking water. They've renewed this permit repeatedly, every 5 years, when it was Vonage, despite the fact that they had numerous violations. They're not going to have any more scrutiny, and they have even less experienced staff now than they did back then. So relying on the DEP to protect your drinking water is a false hope. That's my personal opinion.
All right.
Unless you guys have questions.
Oh, look, first of all, you said you're on the planning board, right? For 8 years at one point, right?
I was on a planning
That's right.
board.
So you know what the planning board's rules and obligations are, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So you would also agree that the DEP has better qualifications than the people sitting on this board right now to make a determination about proper groundwater, correct?
You have the authority to enforce your own wastewater management plan. I believe that you
Okay.
can impose a condition on this applicant to
All right.
discharge
Everyone, be
this
quiet.
wastewater, to discharge this wastewater in compliance with your own plan. You don't have to approve this
Okay,
grandfathered system.
I'll defer to our professionals about that, if you agree that that is something that we have the ability to do, because that's not what I'm aware of.
So I know there is a wastewater management plan in effect, so I would think you could condition that it meets that requirement. Do you have anything to add to that?
But that doesn't work, doesn't look like it's for them.
Yes, that they should follow the
You
Hello?
got to get real close
Hello?
to the microphone.
they should meet that criteria of the wastewater management plan for the town here.
And so what is the wastewater criteria for the, because you're our professionals, right? So I'm sure it was reviewed when they submitted the application. So does it not meet the town's wastewater management plans?
I haven't reviewed it for the, I haven't reviewed it because T&M was reviewing for the wastewater, the treatment facility. So I didn't specifically read the wastewater management plan. It was reviewed by the township engineer.
We,
Hey, Jay, be quiet. All right.
we have not reviewed that at this time. I don't believe a formal submission has been made.
Mr.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, will I have a chance to address this witness?
Yes, go ahead.
Certainly. Thank you. Sir, you mentioned before that you have represented towns and planning boards. Is that correct?
I have represented towns. I have not represented planning boards.
You've sat on planning boards.
I sat on a planning board for 8 years.
And you
yes.
recognize we're here before a planning board, not the township committee.
Correct.
Okay. And you had mentioned you reviewed a lot of documents and things of that nature, listened to the transcripts of the video, rather. Did you review the redevelopment plan?
I skimmed through it. I can't say I studied it in great detail.
Okay. Did you review the redevelopment agreement that was signed between the town and the developer?
I did.
And are you aware both of those documents permit, if not require, this wastewater treatment plant to remain in effect to service this site?
I don't believe they require them to. I know they allow it to.
It permits it, correct?
I think the council, the township entered into that in error. It's not consistent with their own wastewater management plan, and I would think.
But again, you testified before that the township's wastewater management plan retains the.
Request that the witness be allowed to answer the question without being interrupted.
My apology. You're correct.
that's
My
fair.
apology. Please continue with your answer.
I'm asking the planning board to find out if they have the authority to impose this condition to protect the county and the township's drinking water, because I don't think this plant can be brought into compliance. I think it's in a terrible location. You're
You're repeating testimony. We've heard that.
Okay, so, but I believe that agreement included that provision in error, and I'm asking the planning board to correct that error.
So you understand, again, this is a planning board, not the township council, right?
I believe they can impose a condition on the approval.
That where the question was, this is the planning board, not the township council, correct?
I'm aware of that, yes.
Okay, and the township council prepared and adopted the redevelopment plan, correct?
Correct,
And the township council reviewed and approved the redevelopment agreement, correct?
correct.
And the township council prepared and approved the wastewater treatment management plan, is that correct?
Yeah, and they didn't.
And they reserved the right to continue jurisdiction over that, correct? That was your testimony, yes?
They-
Yes
they
or no?
have the authority.
Yes or no, sir? Was that your
Let me
testimony?
answer the question. Yes, they have the
Okay.
they have the authority to enforce the wastewater management plan.
And they've allowed this treatment plant to continue both under the redevelopment plan and the redevelopment agreement.
I believe that they approved that provision in the agreement without full awareness of the wastewater management plan. So I am asking the planning board if they have the authority to impose a condition that this development comply with best management practices and the township's own wastewater management plan. The proposed treatment plant and discharge to this partially treated sewage directly to a drinking water stream is not consistent with all of the DEP's regulations and your own wastewater management plan.
So, but you are aware that this facility is under DEP jurisdiction, correct? It can't operate without the appropriate DEP permits.
Right. And
Okay, and you've testified that we've applied for those permits and the renewals of those permits, correct?
I'm
Yep.
aware of an application to renew one of the permits. We haven't been able to ascertain the status of the second permit.
Okay, and have you personally viewed the site or toured the site or
I
taken
haven't-
samples or anything of that nature?
I have not.
Everyone, be quiet, please. Let them speak.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Okay.
No.
Any other questions from?
Yes. In previous meeting, the wastewater engineer for the applicant was asked by the public, would the lagoon be stagnant? And it was answered no, because it would be percolating and evaporating the 40,000 gallons per day, or alternately 25,000 gallons per day, coupled with spraying 15,000 gallons a day onto a field. From what I saw, the last flow into the lagoon was approximately October 2023. I did document and visit and document the lagoon on December 2024, and there was substantial remaining water in the lagoon. Wouldn't it be expected to be empty over a year later after no more water was entering into it?
Right. I mean, the water is stagnant as it's sitting there, as it slowly percolates into the lagoon. It's not flowing. So it is stagnant, if that was your question. But the fact that it hasn't percolated in all that time is an indication of the poor permeability of the soils underneath it, and probably the buildup of sludges and sediment over the years of operation of the lagoon. I know the applicant proposed to scrape the bottom and get rid of whatever grunge has built up on the bottom of the lagoon, but the fact that it percolates so slowly is an indication probably that the soils underneath it don't have the capacity to take that percolation. We don't know, because again, the original permit was almost 50 years ago, and we don't have that original application, so we don't know if soil borings were ever drilled or any of the percolation tests that would be required for a new plan today.
Let me correct you on one thing. The document you referred to was a 3 or 4 page document from Azor. It was not unsigned. And when we brought it up in terms of, are you going to live by what you're saying, what you just said, scrape it, they said no. They're not going to. They are not abiding by that.
Okay. Can we, Jay, please, that's the last time I'm going to tell you.
That's all I have.
Any other questions?
No, just going to get through this. No, no further questions.
I have some questions. Okay. You have in fact reviewed the application in question, have you not?
Yeah, I've reviewed various documents submitted by the applicant, yes.
Have you also aware of the fact that with regard to this particular application? Talk to the mic, okay. With regard to this particular application, are you aware of the fact that there is in fact an existing building on the site?
Yes.
And do you know how that building was previously used prior to this application?
It was an office building.
You know when that use of that office building ceased?
I don't know
Okay.
accurately.
Now, have you also reviewed the plot plans that were submitted with regard to this application?
Yes.
Now, with regard to this application, the office building is located in what is known as Phase 1.
Correct.
That's an existing building. Are you aware of the fact that the office building, as proposed, will be slightly reduced in square footage?
I didn't focus on that, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay. Now, with regard to the property, regard to the site, there are in fact 3 other phases to the project, are there not?
Correct.
And my understanding is, in listening to the, reading the reports, there's a representation that with regard to Phase 1, which simply contains the remodeled or office building, that will allow 40,000 per gallons per day to be treated.
There I think the engineer testified that they will not exceed 40,000, that it's phases 1, 2, and 3, that by using DEP's assumptions, they calculate that they would exceed the 40,000. I believe the engineer said that after phases 1 and 2 are in place, they'll look at the actual flows and recalculate and see if they'll have enough capacity to build phase 4.
Well, with regard to phases 2, 3, and 4, there is no definitive study which shows that it will be satisfied, but is the proposed gallonage.
Right now, the calculations using DEP's numbers would say that they will exceed the 40,000 gallons a day. I believe that was the engineer's testimony last week, or last month, or the month before. That would put them at about 41,000 gallons, if I remember correctly. But again, they were going to recalculate based on actual flows after phases 1.
And the word to be is the operative word is recalculate, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Now, with regard to the 4 phases, phase 1 is an existing facility. Is that not correct?
I believe so.
Right. And with regard to phases 2, 3, and 4, these are buildings which are proposed.
Correct.
Okay. Now, the applicant is seeking both final approval for phase number 1. Is that not so?
I believe so.
And with regard to phases 2, 3, and 4, he is seeking preliminary approval.
That's my understanding.
But that preliminary approval, if granted, will lock in the proposed or accepted use of the property.
I'm not a planning expert,
Okay.
so I would ask your
Now,
planner.
I just have several more questions. Now, when you've examined the plans and/or the specifications of what is presently on the site as far as the location of one building on the entire site, which I think is in excess of 80 acres, correct?
I believe that's right.
Okay. Now, the applicant is not seeking approval with regard to phases 2, 3, and 4, but he is merely seeking a preliminary approval. So with regard to phase 1, if he receives a preliminary and final approval, he will be able to begin construction of the facility.
I guess so. Again, I think that's more a question for Mr. Steck.
But with regard to phases 2, 3, and 4, while he may not begin construction right away, he is attempting to lock in for the future how he can utilize this property.
Again, I think that's outside my realm of
Okay.
expertise.
You made reference to the plans being submitted to the DEP. In comparing the existing site to what is proposed to be modified and what is to be constructed, would you agree with me that this, in fact, is a new use on the property?
Absolutely.
Why do you say that?
Because it was an office building with people there 8 or 10 or 12 hours a day. Now it's going to be ultimately 300 residential units with people there 24/7, making 3 meals a day, using the toilets 24 hours a day. So the nature of the wastewater will be very different.
Okay. Now, with regard to the DEP, is there a difference between the renewal of a permit as compared to securing a new permit?
There's a big difference.
Well, explain to the board. I just used the word big, and I didn't solicit that from you. It came out spontaneously. What is the big difference between a renewal as compared to a new permit being applied for in the
A
state?
new permit for a percolation lagoon would require soil borings, mounding calculations, percolation tests, in addition to projections of the quality of the wastewater that would be treated and the quality of the effluent, the partially treated sewage that would come out of that plant and be put into the lagoon or directly into the surface water. Because this is a renewal, they're not required to submit any of that testing information. They're submitting tables that show what they think the parameters will be in the wastewater and the effluent, but a lot of the information that would be required in a new application is not required in this renewal.
what is your opinion as to whether or not the existing plan can be modified, or should there be a new application?
It should be a new application, but that's not apparently how the DEP is viewing this from again, what I've heard secondhand.
Now, with regard to this application before this board, and you say you've also served on planning boards in other communities, correct?
I served on one planning board for 8 years in Essex County, yes.
Right. Would it not make sense, since this is a new approval, for the board to require and demand that the applicant secure a permit for a new construction plan before they vote on this application?
I don't know if the town has the authority to insist that the DEP view this as a new application. I do believe the town has the authority to determine where that discharge occurs. The DEP doesn't dictate the location of the discharge, and to me that is the crux of the issue. The township doesn't have to approve this development with a 50-year-old grandfathered scheme that it would not be consistent with any of today's practices to protect streams and to protect groundwater and to protect your drinking water.
Now, I greatly respect my adversary in this matter, and I believe I understand why he has framed this application as he has. But in the words of common sense, aren't they really looking for a shortcut?
Clearly. I mean, they're trying to grandfather a 50-year-old system that doesn't comply with today's standards and would never be approved today.
Now, you've said repeatedly would never be approved today. Can you tell us why you believe it would not be approved?
Because I don't think the DEP allows discharges of partially treated sewage directly to tributaries of drinking water reservoirs. I don't believe they would allow the construction of a lagoon within 100 feet of a stream corridor. The wastewater management plan, the township's own best management practices say the only acceptable method for discharge of wastewater in this area of the township, in the southern slope, is subsurface discharge. And that's what it should be.
Okay, now, having said that, and I confess to having read the various reports, but can you trace for us, with regard to the location of the buildings, with regard to the soil conditions, with regard to the lagoon, take us step by step as to how this effluent leaves the building and gets to its ultimate resting place. And having said that, when I read the reports, it said that the lagoon would function on a period of 6 months, and then for the second 6 months, it would go through another process. Can you explain to us why that's necessary and how it works?
Well, the wastewater for the office building came out of the toilets and kitchens and everything, went into sewer pipes, went to the wastewater treatment plant. Barry can testify much more knowledgeably about how that treatment plant works, but basically there was elements for solids to settle out, clarifiers, equipment to filter out solids, and a system to kill bacteria. There's nothing in that old plant, and from what I could read with the little bit of information provided, nothing in the proposed upgrades that treats dissolved constituents.
Excuse me, what is a dissolved constituent?
So salts like sodium and chloride, chemicals like phosphorus, which are in our dishwashing detergent and laundry detergent, and a lot of our other household products. Ammonia, which is in the wastewaters, the urine and all the things that we excrete. There's lots of nitrogen in those compounds, and that stuff was going through the treatment plant and going 6 months to a percolation lagoon, and the other 6 months, I presume because the lagoon freezes over, being discharged directly to the...
And I apologize for interrupting you. Why would you go from the lagoon to a different method of...
I think because in the winter, the lagoon freezes over, and so they don't want to put the water there to sit there and freeze, and so they were discharging directly to the stream. Partially treated wastewater directly into a tributary of a drinking water reservoir.
Run that by me again, because I'm having trouble comprehending it. So, when it leaves the lagoon, is it treated or untreated?
It's partially treated sewage, is what it is. It's waste.
Sewage meaning.
Meaning what goes down toilets, what goes down sinks and kitchens, and in the new proposed development, with showers, any medical treatment.
That all goes into the lagoon.
Well, it goes to the treatment plant. The treatment plant removes the solids, kills the bacteria, does not remove the dissolved constituents, doesn't treat the pharmaceutical chemicals, doesn't treat a whole host of other chemicals for which there are no criteria, and 6 months would go into the lagoon and percolate into the ground. And if the lagoon backed up, then they had a backup of spraying some of it onto a field, which, from what I read, was never actually implemented, but it was there as a backup. And I guess because in the winter months the lagoon freezes and the pipes freeze, they would discharge directly to the stream before it had a chance to freeze. So
Let me ask you this question. I mean, what danger, if any, is there in discharging this directly into the stream?
So we've all seen reports in the newspaper of algal blooms in lakes and rivers in New Jersey. What causes those algal blooms? The phosphorus and nitrogen in our lawn fertilizers and in our wastewaters from septic tanks and what have you, and direct discharges into those streams. And so by discharging those contaminants directly into the river, instead of into the ground several hundred feet away from the river, you don't have any treatment by the soils, no dilution, no retardation by the soils. Those constituents, the phosphorus, the ammonia, the chlorides, the sodium, are going directly into the stream and raising the concentrations of those in the surface water.
What impact, if any, is there a possibility of this methodology that they've put forth would affect the drinking water?
Well, I mean, all those things are going directly into people's drinking water, and then it becomes incumbent on New Jersey American to treat that before it distributes it, increases their treatment costs. And again, if there's chemicals that they're not treating for, they're going directly into the people's drinking water. So steroids, hormones, antidepressants, I mean, it impacts the surface water ecology. Fish are being messed up by these contaminants, but it would affect people's drinking water. If you were to comply with the wastewater management plan and discharge the septic system several hundred feet from the stream, it would have the benefit of the groundwater traveling through those soils and filtering out a lot of those contaminants.
Wouldn't you opine that a conscientious applicant would look to construct the best possible methodology of disposing of this waste?
The best practices consistent with the township's wastewater management plan would be to investigate the site, determine where the best locations are to construct septic tanks, and design a subsurface disposal system to get rid of the 40,000 gallons or however many gallons they think they're going to generate.
Would you not say that with regard to the well-being of this community, that all of that would be done with the DEP prior to this board voting on this application?
Again, that's a question more for a planner, what the procedural steps about permits, when to get the permits, when to get approvals. I would defer to others.
Okay. Based upon what you've heard, you spoke in terms of in instances when the lagoon would not be able to handle or dispose of them, and then it would be it'd be pumped out and aerated. What does that mean?
That means that they would pump the partially treated sewage to, basically sprinklers and spray it onto a field. The past system was over, I don't know, I think it was somewhere in the northern part of the property. It wasn't shown on the site plan. I'm not sure where the applicant's proposing to replace that system.
Is it not possible that some of that effluent being aerated would be landing on adjacent properties owned by the residents?
It has the potential to aerosolize contaminants and make them airborne, yes. And how far they'll travel depends on prevailing winds, but there have been many odor complaints at wastewater treatment plants, so yes, that's a possibility.
Based upon all of the plans that you reviewed and based upon your testimony, would it be your opinion that the safest course for this board to take with regard to its responsibilities to the residents of Homedale is that all of that testing be done before this board votes on this application?
Yes, I think it should be treated as a new application, yes. But beyond that, I would suggest that they require the applicant to comply with their wastewater management plan and discharge to subsurface disposal systems.
Now, you speak in terms of a new application. Now, you've looked at the proposed four-phase plan, have you not?
Yes.
And you've looked at what is the existing phase one, which is being reduced in size.
Yes.
Is there any doubt in your mind but that this is a new application?
No.
I have no further questions.
I've got one more, my friend. Sir? Your testimony is a little bit in conflict with something that the applicant has testified to. And we discussed the quality of the water coming into the plant and the change from an office building to a medical and residential use. It was their testimony, they testified that the quality of the water would be improved, not degraded, and that the addition of clothes washers, dishwashers, and bathtubs would, again, improve what's going to the plant. Do you disagree with that?
I heard that statement by the applicant's engineer, and I thought it was somewhat speculative. He didn't provide any calculations or analyses to back that up. I know he's thinking that showers may dilute what comes out of the toilets, but the office building had people using those toilets 8 or 10 hours a day. In the new project, you're going to have people using those toilets around the clock. You're also going to have medical facilities by the time you get to phase 4 with whatever solvents and other pharmaceutical chemicals that are being used. So that statement about the water quality being improved, I find speculative, and I would need to see some calculations and data to back that up. I can't say I agree with it.
The process of sprinklers spreading effluent onto a field, are you familiar with anything like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I have a client who did that for treated, for groundwater that was contaminated. It was treated, met standards, and was spray irrigated for part of the year. Yes.
Okay. This is a 4-phase project. I guess my question is, before the sprinkler, at some point, somebody's going to decide when the sprinklers start, right? Before that happens, is there a siren that goes off, a red light?
You would have to
warning.
You'd have to ask the applicant. My understanding is that it's a backup in the event that the lagoon gets too full and it's not percolating at sufficient a rate to handle the 20, 30, 40,000 gallons a day coming into the lagoon. Again, it had never, from what I read, it had apparently not been implemented. It was there as a backup. But what warnings and that you'd have to ask the applicant that question.
Last one. So they're permitted, going to perhaps permitted to spray 15,000 gallons per day. Is there potentially a formula that says how big of an area you would need to discharge 15,000 gallons a day for 6 months? Like how much area would you need? I don't necessarily need you to answer that, but can they answer that?
Yeah, I think you would do percolation tests to make sure that the soils wouldn't become waterlogged and you'd have water ponding on the surface, that the soils could accept that water being applied to the surface and infiltrate. So you would, I mean, if I were designing something like that for a client, I would want to do soil borings and calculate the rate of infiltration that those soils could handle. Sure.
I have a question. I'm sorry. And anyone else on the board have a question?
No.
Okay. Me. With regard to the property, you've looked at the plans, have you not?
Yes.
What is the area surrounding this proposed project? How is it being utilized?
I didn't study that in detail. I saw that there's some commercial entities and I think it's mostly residential.
Mostly residential.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about doing is taking this potentially, and not even use the word speculative, but potentially harmful use and putting it in amongst residential properties.
I can't speak to whether putting 330 or however many residential units there is harmful. Certainly, the spray irrigation could be harmful to nearby residents. If some of those contaminants become airborne and there are odors associated with
If
them.
you own one of those residential homes, would you be concerned?
I would be concerned, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ed, do you guys want to respond to any of that? You may need a different mic, right?
So I think the overall context here is, I think we have to draw this back to, this is a planning board application that's fully complying, right? So a lot of this is window dressing on the prior conversations, ultimately speaking. There's an approved redevelopment plan. The committee approved that plan. The committee executed a redevelopers agreement with this application with these standards in mind. Now, at the end,
Can you please, we can't have any outbursts. I explained this last time.
so this site is not unique into the area. There are several other facilities that are similar. Yes, there are some thoughts that the older system, maybe we would do something differently. However, this is the basis of which this application has been submitted to this board. Outside any further inputs from the committee, I think you're obligated to review what you have as it is situated here tonight. Based on the testimony that you've heard, nothing has really gone over and above. This is really
Please,
difficult
everyone.
to speak when everybody's chirping. So I think that's the crux ultimately. I think this is a legal matter as much as anything else, that these are the ground rules. Mr. Flager read into the record at the beginning of the last hearing what we're facing and what the obligation and what the points, what the basis of this application has been provided to date, right? So that's, you have a fully conforming application. The committee previously approved both the plan and the agreement. There will ultimately be, as they're submitting through the process, the township will have to sign off on treatment works approval applications. I think the testimony that you've heard is they are mindful of a lot of these things that they're talking about. So the renewal permit, they could operate under today. That's, at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about here. They have the ability to operate under that permit statutorily.
Yeah. Anything else from our professionals to address what was just said, testified to? Or counsel for the other side? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, I agree with what Ed said. It's a planning board application that's compliant with the redevelopment plan. And in the process of the preparation of the redevelopment plan, that all should have been, that would have been reviewed by the township committee and their professionals. So I think that's what is in front of the board today.
Yes, Counselor.
I have a question, and I apologize. My question is posed. I'm sorry. Right, like that? I know there's a reason why you were here tonight. Okay. The gentleman who spoke first, I didn't catch your name, but you used the word, and I quote you, you used the word maybe. What is your definition or understanding of the word maybe? I mean, does this board have the ability to approve something because maybe it will work? Maybe.
I don't appreciate the tone of that question, Mr. Gazarovski. I think maybe is a word of record. You can look it up in the dictionary.
First, if I may. And I would apologize.
Everyone, I need you to be quiet or we're going to call the meeting.
Yeah, let me make a comment with regard to the ordinance, and I would request that you respect the chair who is conducting a meeting. And I would further suggest, and I've done this for the last 50 years, we're not accomplishing anything by these outbursts. I know what your thoughts are. I know the opinions you have. I respect them. I've been retained to present them to the board. I like to do it in an orderly fashion. I like to receive respect, and I would request that you address it also to the chairman and the board. It's as simple as that.
Tell them the crap.
Oh, crap.
Let me say this, and I'm not bothered by your sarcastic comment about me or to me, but what is your definition of maybe? Is this board going to approve something because maybe the plan will work?
Look, I don't want to fight because, look, let me make something clear to everyone here that I want clean drinking water as much as anyone here. This is a procedural thing which no one seems to really understand. That we're at this point because there was a series of steps. We're at step whatever number it is. A lot of these concerns, are valid concerns, and I'm not here for, despite what people may think, to poo-poo on anything. But yeah, really, forever just said that. We're just here. This is an administrative sort of type of hearing, which is one step in the final process. There were discussions with the town council, and, I could go back to you, Counselor, with all due respect, with your expert saying that he thinks this and he thinks that, and the township may or may not. I mean, I don't know what his background is in the legality of the planning boards or the legality of the system. He's certainly a very qualified geologist or hydrologist, whatever he is. But he should know on a planning board what the role of a planning board is, right? Right, Counselor? Would you agree?
I would say this. I've read all of the documents. And it's going to be my position that those documents reflect the fact that this board has the ability to say to the applicant that before we vote on this, we want an answer from the DEP.
All right, well,
as to how it's
I'll
gonna work.
respectfully ask you for what specific document are you talking about and what specific regulation are you talking about that
I'll
gives
get
us
to
that right?
It's in my notes. I'll get to it, and I
Okay.
promise you that I will.
Okay.
If I don't, by the end of the day, you could call me out on it. Having said that, and I would address my comments once again to the last witness. My understanding is that basically this witness can testify empirically as to what he has before him. And I guess the question he has to answer is whether or not the applicant who has put his case on has demonstrated that this plan will work. I mean, the applicant has chosen to go for a renewal rather than a new plan. Doesn't that tell you something? Do you understand why he's going for a renewal rather than a new plan? I would ask you that question.
The answer is yes. I'm aware why he's doing it.
Why is he doing it?
Because he's entitled to do that
Okay.
under the permit that he has.
Does that make it right?
I'm not here to
I
right.
object to this questioning, whether it's right or wrong or morally good or whether, the priest says it's okay. There's laws here. You're well aware of it. Been doing it for 50 years. You should be well aware, as every professional for the board and on my client's application has testified to, including the board attorney, that this is under DEP jurisdiction. Unless you can point to a case or a regulation which nobody to date, we're on hearing number 4, not one person has pointed to a case, a statute, or a regulation that says this board has any jurisdiction over this. Nobody. You say you do? I'd love to see it because there's about 10 people here who have been doing this for years and are not aware of it. So the question, with all due respect to Mr. Herman, is not to him. He's an engineer and a very good one. He's not a lawyer. The legal issue has been addressed, and unless you have some binding precedent, this testimony you've put on and your next witness, I'm sure is going to be similar to that, has no bearing to what this board has jurisdiction over.
Yeah.
That's been
And-
well established.
And I'm going to just, look, if to pile on that a little, if you or any of your witnesses or anyone here could, and I've been saying this from the beginning, if you could show how what they're doing is wrong or shouldn't be done because of what the rules and regulations that are in place, whether you like them or not, this isn't a thing for opinion. I'm asking you legally, what, are they complying with the rules? And if you could show us where we as a board of a planning department, you could sit down, please, you know. I'm not talking to you. He could bring, your counselor could, listen, we're not gonna do it this way. You'll always, the public will always have a right to comment later. Okay. All right.
I
So
was-
if you
I-
have it, then just produce it, and then we could take it from there. Well, then give it to your attorney.
I would say, if I may respond to that,
Yeah.
I'm not attempting to take away any jurisdiction or authority that this board has. What I am saying is that this matter should be, let's assume for the sake of argument, listening to your comments, that the board votes to approve this project, subject to it going to the DEP with regard to the wastewater. All I'm saying is...
Subject to everything they have to do.
All I'm saying is, you do have the authority and the jurisdiction to say to the applicant, look, go to the DEP first. Go to them first. Let them rule with regard to this, and then come back to us. That's all I'm asking.
Well, that's part of that's part of the agreement. They can't proceed until they get the DEP approval.
Well, they can't, well,
I mean, look, I looked at your expert's resume. He's been dealing with the DEP for 50 years, right? So, you know, for 50 years, he's been dealing with the DEP and dealing with the people there. And I'm sure everything he's done in his entire career has been compliant with the DEP. I'm sure every developer and homeowner and everyone in this whole state has to follow the NJDEP regulations, right?
the question
Whether they're
here is-
understaffed or not, they have to follow them, right?
The question here is whether or not this is a new application or a renewal of an old application. And my statement to you is, you have the jurisdiction to say to the DEP, tell us what it is.
Yeah, okay.
Again, there is a history of case law that makes very clear the board does not have that ability to not rule an application because an outside agency needs to approve something. Just as we've discussed a dozen times before, we have to get approval from the county planning board, from Soil Conservation District. If we were on Route 34, we need to get approval from DOT. DEP for this and stormwater and anything else we need is an outside agency approval we have to get before we can get permits. There's no law that I'm aware of, and again, if there's a case, I would love to see it, that says this board cannot rule because they want to see what an outside agency has to say. So again, unless there's a case going to be produced for me and Mr. Flagler to look at, I think we're beating this horse to death.
Look, I haven't completed my case yet. I have two additional witnesses. I reviewed, and I'll get to it. I do believe that the municipal land use law says in certain circumstances, the board is able to call for that approval from an outside agency first. We'll get to that.
Well, can you just produce it now? Show
Why?
it to me right now.
I'm going to call my next witness.
But it's a document, right?
Mr. Chairman.
I'm
look,
asking you to produce it.
Respectfully, I'm here to present my case. You're here to listen and vote on it. When I finish my case,
Ron,
you don't agree with me,
Ron,
you can
Ron.
do that.
The board chair and any board member can ask you a question. You can't cut them off. He asks a question. You can say, no, you can't produce it. No, you'll do it later. No, it's inappropriate. But don't tell him he's wrong to ask you a question. That's not appropriate either. We can all agree. You can move on to your next witness. I would suggest, Mr. Chair, member of the board, if you have anything to submit, we're going to have one more hearing, as we've said at the last meeting, on the 27th, I'd be 6th, 7th, whatever the next two Tuesdays.
27th.
Submit something in writing to me before
I
that
shall.
meeting.
I
please.
shall.
And to Mr. Kemp.
And I thank you for,
Yeah, I mean,
your
I'm willing to
comment.
take anything you
I
say
shall.
under advisement, and we will be discussed, when the board motion comes up, I will give that advice at that time.
And I think you'll agree that I have attempted in sitting here to encourage the residents who are here to treat the board respectfully, as I am doing, and I expect the same respect coming toward me.
Yeah, I don't think, and I agree with that first statement, I don't think the chair was treating you with disrespect, or Mr. Herman or anybody else, in all honesty, but again, let's move forward. I suggest,
I'm ready to move forward.
let's go to your next witness, or we're not gonna
I'm
finish.
ready to call my next witness. Thank you.
I suggest you use the black mics, not that hand.
I'm sorry?
Use the black mic, don't use that
put it closer. Everybody hears me? That's it.
Okay. Let me call my next witness. My next witness is Barry Sutherland. I'm sorry. Thank you. You all set? Thank you. You want to sit here? That's good.
Swear you in first. Do you swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? And again, just spell your name for the record, please.
Barry Sutherland. I think I got this one. My name is Barry Sutherland, Sutherland.
Okay. Mr. Sutherland, you've been retained by me this evening to present testimony, have you not?
That is correct.
Now, before you do that, can you just give us your professional background and what expertise you have?
I've been a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey since 1983. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering from Lehigh University. I have a Master's in Environmental Engineering from Manhattan College. I am a professional planner, which I don't plan on using at this time. I'm a certified municipal engineer. I started my career working in the NJDEP wastewater treatment system in the late 70s. I then moved on. I was a municipal engineer for the firm of Nigler Engineering Associates up in Lyndhurst for 20 years to over a dozen municipalities in Bergen, Essex, and Hudson County. Since 2000, I've been working for TRC engineers, TRC companies, doing mostly design and remediation of groundwater systems, obtaining discharge to surface water, discharge to groundwater, and treatment works approval for I don't know, countless number of groundwater systems.
Now, I would request the board take cognizance of my
I saw that.
witness's expertise in this.
No objection.
Thank you. Now, you were retained prior to my being retained as an attorney in this matter, were you not?
That's correct.
Did you have occasion to visit the site?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Did you have occasion to review all of the plans that have been submitted and presented to this board?
Yes, I was provided with the board secretary entire file. I've spent numerous times reviewing what I feel was appropriate for my testimony.
Were you present during the hearings when the applicant presented his case?
I was present at the last hearing.
Did you review the other hearings?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Now, with regard to your testimony this evening, would you please opine to us what you found by examining all of the plans and listening to the testimony?
Well, I mean, my first thing, I looked at the entire site plan. You know, I reviewed the development agreement. As Mr. Nackman explained, I reviewed the township's wastewater management plan for 2002. I reviewed the plan board engineers review letter. I mean, I reviewed countless documents. I reviewed what was available for the discharge to surface water, discharge to groundwater, and what was available for the existing treatment works approvals.
Can you tell me when the original wastewater treatment system was issued a treatment works approval by the NJDEP?
It appears that it was somewhere around 1977. It was issued approval. Like I said, it's as Mr. Nackman explained, it's sedimentation, it's some flocculation,
it's disinfection, and then that treated wastewater is discharged either to the lagoon or to the stream.
So this was approved approximately 50 years ago,
That is correct.
right? And the proposal which is before us today does not only include that facility which is located on Phase 1, but it includes Phases 2, 3, and 4.
That is correct.
Okay. Has there been any documentation or any testing done to show that if in fact all of that square footage were constructed, whether this plant would be sufficient to service that?
No, I did not see any documentation to that effect.
Okay. Now, isn't it true that an NJDEP TWA, which stands for Treatment Works Approval, must be renewed every 2 years up to 5 years?
It has to be reviewed every 2 years for a maximum term of 5 years if DEP so desires.
Now, was there once a permit issued with regard to this site?
Excuse me?
Was there once a permit issued with regard to this site?
Well, if you're talking about, well, there's 3 different permits for this site. There's the surface water, there's the groundwater, and there's a TWA.
Okay. Isn't it true that the permit for the development in this site expired in May of 2013?
That's what I've seen from the documents, correct?
Pardon?
The treatment works approval, I believe, expired 2013. The discharge to groundwater, surface water, I believe, expired somewhere around 2020.
Is it not true that all of the necessary permits for the operation of this site as of this date have expired?
That is correct.
Now, with regard to the use of the property, what is your understanding as to how Phase 1 will be treated with regard to the GDP?
Phase 1 will be treated with the existing wastewater treatment plant with some minor upgrades. I reviewed a letter. I forget the consultant engineer that prepared it. He documented some of the upgrades that would be proposed to upgrade the system for the new use.
Now, when you were present at the prior hearings, was there any testimony to the effect that the applicant has in fact applied for a new permit?
I didn't hear any.
Okay. How about with regard to the concept plan which was prepared for the on-site wastewater treatment plant prepared by Colliers, which is dated July of 2025?
Yeah, that was the concept plan that I just talked about that provided some upgrades to the system.
Now, this is a concept design, is it
It's
not?
a concept plan. There's no calculations. It was.
All right. Does it provide for any wastewater discharge calculations or treatment removal rates?
No.
So we know that the applicant at one point in time will have to go to the DEP for approvals. Do you know whether they've done that as of this date?
I personally don't know, but I've heard, as Mr. Nachman said, that they have applied for the discharge to, I believe, the groundwater permit.
Okay. Now, with regard to the existing treatment facility, is it your opinion that that facility, as it presently exists, is outdated?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, have you had the opportunity to see or review any or all of the engineering dealing with the, whether we call it a renewal or an upgrading of the existing system?
The only thing that I've seen is the concept plan and a memo.
Now, with regard to the plan, you've reviewed the plan which consists of 4 phases, have you not?
Yes, I have.
Now, phase 1, as I read it, consists of the existing facility building. As it's modified, I believe it's reduced somewhat in size.
That is correct from my
Now-
review of the plans.
With regard to the balance of the site, balance of the 87 acres, is there any other structures or buildings located on that property?
No, they're all new.
So whatever we're talking about and before this board is to add, in addition to the existing building, an additional, perhaps hundreds of thousands of additional square feet to be utilized by the treatment facility.
That is correct.
Okay. Are you aware of any other approvals or comments by the Homedale Environmental Commission or anybody else with regard to this application?
Yes, I did. I did review a letter from the Township Environmental Commission. I wish I had a copy of it right here, but they had some concerns again about the discharge to the Swimming River and the discharge to the influent to the New Jersey American Water drinking water plant.
Now, you appeared before boards before, have you not?
Yes, I have.
And you're familiar with applications as well as resolutions which call for an approval conditioned upon other outside approvals being secured.
Yes, I am.
Okay, are you aware of anything, and how many years have you been doing this?
Well, I graduated from college in 1978, so I'm going on 50 years.
I'm almost that old. Having said that, have you formed an opinion as to whether or not a resolution can be prepared prior to the applicant securing all of the necessary approvals from the DEP so that the board will know, the community will know, that if in fact this matter is voted upon, it'll be compliant with the well-being of the community?
I mean, most boards condition their approvals upon all and every regulatory approval being secured.
Well, this applicant, as I read his documents, does not intend to go to an outside agency with a new application for approval, but rather he is seeking a renewal of an existing permit.
That's what I've heard about the discharge to groundwater and discharge to surface water. I believe, I haven't heard testimony that they're going to submit the new treatment works approval to DEP.
I have no further questions. You got any further comments to make?
I do have a few further comments. I mean, I've heard the board say they don't have jurisdiction, but the treatment facility is a building on the property. I'll let the planner further that, but they have authority to approve or reject buildings on the property, to my understanding of planning board law, but I'm not an attorney, but it's
You're not an attorney, right?
I'm not an attorney.
Let's stick within his expertise.
The other thing that I will note that I find it hard to believe that, and DEP should not accept a discharge to surface water or discharge to planning board renewal without seeing all 4 phases. Because the calculations that are required to discharge to the groundwater and the amount of flow to discharge to the surface water are based on volume and contaminant constituents. I would hope that the DEP would do their job and look at all 4 phases. Hopefully all 4 phases will be submitted to the township. to the DEP. Same thing for the TWA. This is not a, this is a change in use. Okay, as Mr. Nachman explained, you're going from an office building that was maybe 5 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day, maybe sometimes on weekends. Now you're going to facilities that are 24 hours a day. And, it's a definite change in use. And I find it hard to believe that DEP would just renew any of the permits based on, based on if they have knowledge that this is the new use of the building.
Now, as an expert, are you aware of any statutory regulation or any relation to the municipal land use law that says that a board cannot demand that the applicant receive his approvals from the DEP before they vote on a project such as this?
No, I'm not.
I have no further questions.
Just one other thing is, if this treatment works approval is not deemed a renewal by the NJDEP and it's reduced as modification, the township committee will have to prepare a resolution approving the TWA application before the DEP even accepts it. So that is, because they are the jurisdictional area of this treatment facility based on a wastewater management plan.
Okay, so to follow up, and thank you for your testimony, because I just want to touch on a few things. One, you are aware that the reason they're doing 4 phases is they're going to be doing volume monitoring, and depending on the volume, they will do less work if need be to comply, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, make sure. But you did say, and I want to make sure I heard it right, that we can vote, the board could approve contingent upon them receiving all regulatory approvals. That was the words you said. I wrote it down. Right?
I've seen boards do that, yes.
Have you ever seen a board not do that? Thank you. So you also said that, what was the last thing you just said? You talked about the township committee, right? And their obligations, right? Is this the township committee? Yes or no? It's
No,
okay.
it isn't.
We know
No,
it's not.
no,
You don't have to
you're
think
not.
about the right answer. Right. So the planning board is their role here. Unless someone could once again produce some sort of document that shows that we have the authority to reject an application pending, and you just said yourself, have you ever seen a situation, your attorney asked you, where the planning board demanded the DEP approval before voting on an application? You said no.
Right, but
Okay,
you can request that they move buildings. That's a land use.
What's that?
You can request that they move treatment buildings out of the area that's currently out. That's a land use issue.
Right, okay. All right, thank you. Anyone else have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, just a quick
Yeah.
question. You mentioned at the end of your statement about if the DEP determines it to be a modification. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
We didn't quite understand it.
Well, I understand that from what I've heard is that the applicant wants to just do a renewal, even though the permit's been expired for I don't know how many years. This would require, in my opinion, this would require a modification of the existing permit. They're changing the use of the type of wastewater being discharged. They are doing they're proposing modifications to the treatment system. So this, in every application, will be a modification, which is a full treatment works approval application.
Would DEP provide that comment back saying needs to be a formal a renewal versus a new approval?
If they're given the proper documents, yes.
All right, well, yeah. You have something, Wes?
So then basically,
Oh.
what you're saying is that the DEP would not consider anything from the applicant without our approval unless we make the request?
As far as the discharge permits, the surface water and groundwater, as Mr. Nachman said, if they just do a renewal, there doesn't have to be a public notification. They can require a public notification, which the board and the township and the local environmental commissions and the county will get notice of. That's just a discharge. The TWA, if they again just do a rubber stamp renewal, you won't see it. But if they rightfully call this a modification, the township will have to approve it. The committee will have to approve it by resolution that they approved this plan. And that's where I feel they have the right to say it doesn't meet their wastewater management plan.
When you say they, who are you talking about?
The township committee.
The committee, not the
Correct.
planning committee, not the planning board,
They
right?
they would be the one to
Okay. Just,
issue the resolution.
just please make that distinction so they don't misunderstand what our role is versus the township committee. Okay. You have something to ask, Council?
I just have one clarification. You've talked about renewing a permit versus a new permit versus a modification. All of those, no matter which three category it falls under, would fall under DEP's requirements, right? We'd have to apply to DEP for one of those three.
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing further.
And just so, do you agree with your predecessor that says that if the DEP goes about and approves something, that the groundwater could still be contaminated if they approve something? So any application that they review now could possibly contaminate groundwater because they're...
If they're not given the proper documents,
If they're given the proper documents and they follow all the rules...
If they're given the proper documents and they ask for the proper testing and they do their rightful review of it, these documents.
And that's their job, right, to do that, right? Yes or no, right?
That's
you work
their
for them,
job,
right? That's their
yes,
job, thank
but-
you, right, okay. You could say it, okay. Anyone else have a question of this witness? You, Wes? What, Miss?
I have a further question.
Wait, 1 second, Ron. You wanna? did
Would
have a
you
question?
agree?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Am I interrupting
Yeah, the
somebody?
board member wants.
Ready? The question came up earlier, in earlier meetings about what oversight the DEP has over this type of site once it gets going. Previous testimony said that this site had over $100,000 in fines associated with it. I understand that after 3 years, this sewer plant, we'll call it a sewer package treatment plant, can be assigned to the owners. In other words, the people living in the facility are then responsible for it. So my question is, if something doesn't work, I suppose that the DEP has two options. One is like a notice of violation. In other words, notifying them that something is wrong. And then the second thing would be a fine. Is there any case where the DEP steps in and takes over the operation of the facility when it gets so out of hand, or the assignment to the homeowners association simply can't manage it?
Well, just to clarify, once a treatment system is approved, one of the requirements is that the owner hire a New Jersey State licensed operator to operate the plant. Every month, the operator has to sign off on the testing requirements, the testing that was done at the facility, and how they relate to his discharge requirements. That's probably what happened when they got the violations, because he reported the testing results. DEP looked at them versus the permitted, and they saw a violation. And I've only seen fines. I have never seen DEP take over a treatment plant.
So the protection that DEP sort of provides is monetary.
Is monetary, correct?
Okay. A resident had asked if the lagoon was going to smell, and it was answered if it didn't smell before, it shouldn't smell in the future. I had seen DEP documentation that said the nearby bank facility complained about odors. Would it be appropriate for this client to supply actual water samples from a similar plant to witness and see the smell and the clarity of the water?
I've never seen a similar plant like this in all my years of working. Okay, I mean, I've only seen lagoons treat stormwater. I've never been aware of a wastewater lagoon, and I've been doing this since 1978. This started in 1977. What they required to do during the application process is to provide calculations, as Mr. Nachman said, percolation results if they wanted to do this, to see how long it would take for the water to, X amount of gallons of water to percolate into the system. I'm sure there's an O&M manual that tells how often you have to clean out the facility. Yeah, I've never seen a facility like this.
Thank you. The Collier's report. The Collier's report had several like target estimations. So like total suspended solids had a number, and then it had another number for what they wanted to be. Across the board, it was 90% reduction.
Correct.
Right. So I'm not sure what those numbers mean, but in this open-air lake or lagoon, is this appropriate in any way for recreation purposes?
No.
I mean, no rowboats here on this?
No, it would not meet any.
Can this type of water support any aquatic, like they have fish that eat mosquitoes? Can the fish live in there and eat mosquitoes?
Mosquitoes can breed in there, and as Mr. Nachman said, there can be algae based on the nutrient loading of the plant. I don't think there'll be any aquatic in there besides mosquitoes or some other things like that.
Thank you. Last one. The attorney testified that the composition of the effluent is referred to as gray water. It was stated that this water is commonly used in the arid West to irrigate landscapes. My experience in Florida and St. Thomas is that, and in the Google definition of gray water, in no case did it include toilet water, and it specifically excluded kitchen sinks. Should this effluent here be categorized as gray water?
The influent into the treatment plant should be classified as gray water. Depending on the level of treatment, it can be classified as gray water or classified as treated wastewater. It depends on, the DEP should classify it as treated wastewater to their standards, which is 90% BOD, biological oxygen band, total suspended solids. That's what they look at.
Thank you. That's all. Any one of our professionals have something to add? Ed, no? The mic, please.
Oh. Yeah, I think what we've heard is a lot of sort of the same things that we've been hearing. There's really no novel information. at the end of the day here, this is an outside agency that has the authority and approval jurisdiction over this matter. My opinion as a professional engineer, familiar with the land use process, is my recommendation to this board is you have to follow the process under the statute. And outside agency approvals are just that. The authority having jurisdiction over these matters is the NJDEP, not this board.
I have a question based upon the comments being made by the engineer. I've been present at the initial hearings. I've listened to all of this testimony. Have you heard anything where the
A little bit closer, please.
I'm sorry. Have you heard anything? Have you heard anything from the objector's attorney or from my witnesses that says that any agency, particularly this board, I think, has any jurisdiction to decide this issue other than the NJDEP? I mean, I don't understand your comment. We're not saying that the NJDEP is really the only agency that can decide this, but we're saying they should decide it before the board votes on whether to approve the project or not.
That goes back to the legal matter that's been asked and answered several times here, that outside agency approvals cannot be a condition. You can't deny an applicant based on an outside agency approval. You know that, Mr. Gazarovski.
Where does it say that in the law?
I'll defer to the legal counsel
No,
on this
you can't
matter.
answer.
I
You can't
think-
answer. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
If you're not qualified, don't answer that question. We'll answer that later.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have no further questions of this. I have just several more quick questions. The overall plan for this project, being sections or phases 1, 2, 3, and 4, is basically 3 to 4 times greater than what is presently there, is it not?
That's correct.
Okay. And would you agree with me that this is in fact a new application that should be held to the standards of a new application rather than some makeshift attempt to renovate, renew, or amend an earlier permit that was issued 50 years ago?
There should be a new application for all 3 permits: discharge to surface water, discharge to groundwater, and the treatment works approval for the entire 4 phases.
Can you think of any reason why the applicant would be doing it this way rather than treating the application as a new application?
Well, I think someone said it before. It's a quicker way to do it and an easier way.
You say it's quicker and easier. Is it as demanding by way of quality testimony and drawings than if it were being done from scratch?
Yes, they would have to provide. They would have to provide
Mike.
an entire engineering report showing levels of removal with detailed calculations. They would have to provide load-in on the stream, load-in on the groundwater, and a very detailed engineering and hydraulic study for all 3 permits.
They would have to do that on a new application, but not for a renewal.
That's correct. Yeah, that is correct.
Would it be fair to say, or to surmise, that they're doing it this way for the shortcut?
I would agree with that.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, so let me ask you, because you work for the DP, and I'm not doing this to be argumentative. It's surely I'm trying to understand this a little bit. If this was something that's so inherently bad, okay, which it may be, it may not be. I'm not sitting here. I'm not judging any of you guys, right? I get consultants. You have consultants, and they have consultants. If it's so inherently bad, and you worked for the DEP, I see it on your resume. Why would the DEP allow something to be done in this manner if it was going to jeopardize the whole water supply of this town and the neighboring towns? I'm just asking.
If they're not given the proper information.
All right, if they're not, right, so you're basically saying that, let's assume you're basically saying that if they give the proper information, do we have no issue, or you're saying only if they give misleading information?
Right now, what I've heard is they want to just continue on the existing permits from 1977, okay?
So, look,
I would hope that DEP would not accept that and would hold them to the current standards.
and if the people here who have their concerns contacted the DEP, they could contact them with these concerns, and they could make a decision as an agency, as a regulatory body, to deny that if they wanted to, right?
They can submit comments
Right.
to the DEP on any application.
Right. So, once again, I'm not trying to kick the can, just trying to explain to everyone here that it's really for the DEP to understand those issues, and then for them to decide with the applicant if it's what they're proposing is acceptable or not. And if it's not acceptable to the DEP, then they're going to have to do everything else that you guys are suggesting to bring it up to the current standard, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And as an engineer, you know that in the codes, there's grandfathering provisions on buildings for any systems, right?
Correct.
And there's retroactive requirements in the building codes when things are deemed to be no longer acceptable, even though they were acceptable in the past, right? So if certain things weren't deemed to be acceptable anymore, there would be certain situations where people would not be permitted to simply just renew something or take over the permit.
Yes, if things remain the same, the permits will remain the same.
Right, okay. All right. anyone-
I have a further question. I've listened to the comments of the chairman, and I would say that it seems to me that he is attempting to steer this in a certain way.
Counselor, don't mischaracterize my thing. I'm trying to clarify things because listen, everyone, I've been here for 4 meetings for 16 hours, listening to everyone say the same thing in a different shape or form. And all I've simply asked every time, okay, is if there's something we could do, stop telling me you think you know, or maybe show me the document that gives us, I'm just making a general statement. If there's paperwork that says that we have the ability to deny a fully compliant plan as a planning board, just present those documents, and I'll be more than happy to look at them. And I have the attorney here, but we have an attorney for the planning board. We have several professionals for the planning board here that are all saying that what our roles are here in this application.
I would like to, well, you've been pontificating about this, but I would like you, if you would, respectfully, respond to one question. Isn't the municipality better served and protected if this matter were treated by the board as a new plan, a new application, but withhold judgment of the application until the DEP gets back to you? It's not rocket scientists to figure out why they want to go for a renewal or a grandfathering rather than a new plan.
Well, first of all, Counsel, you know better. You don't have the right to ask me a specific question. Secondly, I forgot what you just said there. You just jumped in, Joyce. I was about to respond. Yeah, I mean, once again, Counsel, you've been doing this for how many years?
I've been doing it for over 50 years.
50 years, okay.
And I'll say one thing. I've been doing it for over 50 years, and I've never seen a chairman interject himself into an application as you are doing.
Yeah. Well, you've never seen a chairman had to endure what I've had to endure for 4 months.
I didn't hear what you said.
Ron, if you're going to attack the chair, that's probably, we should stick to your witnesses. The chair,
I'm sorry?
The chair has every right to interject at any time during the hearing, as any board member does, with
know
due
what?
respect to try not to cut you off. So I don't think he's been doing that. He's been asking your witnesses, and then you ask him questions, which is really inappropriate. So I think we should move to your next witness if you're finished,
Mr. Flegger,
because it's going to
Mr.
go
Flegger.
nowhere.
Mr. Flegger, look,
It's going
I've been
nowhere.
asked how long I've been doing this, doing it for over 50 years, hundreds of applications,
Yeah.
hundreds of objections. You know what? There may come a point in time, in this case, when the court determines whether what's being done is proper or not.
That's fine.
That's
And then there'll be case law.
yeah. Okay.
I'll call my next witness.
Thank you.
Can we take a 5-minute comfort break?
No. You want me to take a break?
Give him 5 minutes.
All right. You want 5 minutes? You can have 5 minutes.
Yes, for the record, 9 p.m. Board will be taking 5-minute break. Thank you.
All right, let's everyone take their seats.
Hi, how are you?
For the record, 9:10 p.m., Planning Board is back to session. Thank you.
Is that for me?
Sometimes that's dangerous.
Yeah.
He says something that
Yeah, don't make like it got you.
should've gotta go on.
Sure.
We spoke on the phone. I think you indicated that you weren't going to finish the bid because you got to come back.
Well, anticipate, well, no more witnesses. We have public comment. I'm sorry, we have comment. We're not gonna get through that tonight, so we knew we were gonna come back for one more hearing. Plus, we have a site visit between now and the next meeting, if they have the site visit.
Thank you.
But Ron, it's only gonna be public comment, so.
What's that?
Only for public comment if the next meeting happens. We're finishing with you tonight.
That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
But if you have anything to submit before the next hearing, but don't do it the day before. No, I don't. Ready? Are you on? What Ron, you okay if I swear in your witness? Ron, can we swear in your witness?
Yes.
Okay. Do you swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And just spell your name for the record, please.
Peter Steck, S-T-E-C-K.
Okay, Mr. Steck, you want to sit and speak into that?
I'd like to sit.
Okay. Would you just give us your background and your professional credentials, please?
Yes, by way of education, I have a bachelor's degree in civil engineering and a master's in city and regional planning. I've worked with 2 consulting firms in New Jersey. I was licensed in 1976. That license is still in effect this evening. I've worked for 2 consulting firms in New Jersey, Malcolm Kassler Associates and Alvin Gershon Associates. I was the planning director for the Township Montclair for just short of 10 years. And for the last 20 some odd years, I've practiced as a planning consultant for various municipalities, developers, neighborhood groups. And a long time ago, I did appear several times here in Homedale when Chase Manhattan had a big project, support development.
Okay, Mr. Steck, you were retained by me. First of all, would the board accept Mr. Steck's credentials?
Was he testifying as an expert in planning?
Yes.
Okay, if it's in that context, sure.
Mr. Chairman, I would object to the testimony in general. This application is 100% fully conforming, needs no variances, no design exceptions, no waivers. There's no planning testimony needed of the applicant, and we've provided none because we are 100% conforming. So I'm not sure what planning testimony we're going to hear regarding an application that's 100% conforming.
Okay, that's noted, Counselor, but we're going to just allow for the testimony right now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Steck, you were present throughout the hearing this evening, were you not?
I was.
Listened to the testimony of both of my expert witnesses,
Yes.
and you also had occasion to discuss it with me.
Yes,
And you're aware of the plans concerning this particular application.
I am.
And you're familiar also with the issue of when in fact, or can in fact, a board not render a decision until there's first a determination by the DEP with regard to the issues in question.
Yes, I'm aware of provision in the municipal land use law that accommodates that.
All right, would you go into that, so make this very short?
I have about 4 simple points to make. First,
in the municipal land use law, NJSA 4055D-22, subparagraph B, it reads as follows, and I'm going to underscore the words "in appropriate instances." That says, in the event that development proposed by an application for development requires an approval by a government agency other than the municipal agency shall, in appropriate instances, condition its approval upon the subsequent approval of such governmental agency, and then it continues further. What I want to say is, typically, when you see an application that has wetlands on it, you know, you say subject to DEP, letter of interpretation. If it's on a state highway, you say subject to state permits. That's what typically happens. But the municipal land use law does not say you have to do it that way. The language of the municipal land use law says that there are some circumstances where you don't necessarily approve something subject to outside agencies. So there must be, that language is in the law, there must be instances where it is so important or so fundamental to the application that you need approval of outside agencies in advance. The issue of the quality of water from a reservoir that serves some 300,000 people is an important public health issue. This is a major, major issue. And as you know, it's already been indicated on the record, this treatment plant that Phase 1 is relying upon is an old plant. Typically they're called package plants, but I'll call this an exotic plant because it potentially relies on spray irrigation. This is in an isolated island, which is in a sewer service area. It doesn't connect to any larger treatment facility. So whatever is developed in this island, this isolated sewer service area, it has to treat its services there. It can't pump across like the hinterlands to another municipal service. This is it. And this is an application for 4 phases. And I want to caution you, the applicant is asking for preliminary and final on Phase 1, which is using the existing building, transferring it to a different use. The other phases, which will greatly expand the uses by whatever, 200 additional units, the applicant is asking for preliminary approval. Now, what I want to emphasize to you, if you grant preliminary approval to those other phases, that conveys rights to the applicant. What that means, if the applicant comes back with plans that are identical to what you approve preliminarily, you have to approve it. So what I'm saying is, don't let your guard down because the applicant is saying, oh, preliminary approval on the other phases. You know already from some of the testimony that at least when you get to phases 3 and 4, it's likely that you're going to outstrip the 40,000 gallon per day rating of the system, and it has to be reviewed again. This applicant is applying under the redevelopment plan, November 2024. And one of the responsibilities of a redevelopment plan, one of the requirements of a plan, is to say its relationship to outside agencies. And your plan, it used a little bit of, I'll call it wiggle room. It says that the redevelopment plan is consistent with the intent of the state plan. Now, that's not the requirement. The question is it consistent with the state plan or not with the intent. So there's a little wiggle room, it appears in the plan the way it was written. When you adopted the plan, there was a 2001 state plan, And at that time, this property was in what they call a PA5 environmentally sensitive area. And it was an area that discouraged growth. Now, on December 16th, I believe, of this past year, the state adopted a new state plan. And what's the purpose of the state plan? It's to guide state agencies such as NJDEP in granting permits. It's supposed to be a guide for their issuance of the permits. That state plan that's in effect now did not change the designation of this property as in a PA5 area. And I'll read you a couple quotes from the plan. Although this is going to produce some low and moderate income housing, the state plan says, the state and municipalities should enact zoning and land use strategies that incentivize private development and expand all forms of housing opportunities while minimizing development in environmentally sensitive and vulnerable areas. It also says in environmentally sensitive planning areas, that was where this plant was located in 2001, and it's where the new plan says, should be limited and occur, development should be limited and occur only when environmental factors or resources are not compromised. So what are the goals, what's the intent of the state plan for this PA5 area? Bullet points: protect environmental resources, protect both large and small contiguous areas of land, promote restoring habitats and biodiversities, accommodate growth only in centers, excluding flood-prone areas. And by the way, this is not a center. This is a PA5 environmentally sensitive area. Confining program sewers and public water service to centers, revitalize cities, towns, and older traditional settlements, and protect, enhance, and support the existing character of stable communities. So when this plan goes to the state for review, the current policy of the state of New Jersey, the adopted plan says, you shouldn't encourage substantial new development in the PA5 area. So from a policy point of view, if the applicant needs to expand this plant, or no longer can do spray irrigation, or can no longer do in-ground injection, the state of New Jersey policy, talking to DEP, says approval should not be granted. That's the state policy. Now, that tells me that there's a reasonable likelihood that at some point in time, the state may well say, forget the amount of money the applicant is going to pay to upgrade this. The state policy is not to encourage development in a PA5 area. Well, let's say the applicant gets the 104 units in the existing building and ignores the fact that there's a change in occupancy. We're then talking about, again, preliminary approval, which means you're granting rights to the applicant to approve 65 plus 90 plus 40 new either beds or dwelling units, taking the amount of development that's there. Now, this is all new buildings, new housing units, reasonably intensive for this area of the state. Given the fact that the state plan discourages development here, that tells me there's a likelihood that DEP is going to say, we're not going to allow any expansion here. This is against public policy. Forget how much money the applicant wants to buy or how exotic it is. It's against state policy. Your redevelopment plan kind of dodged this issue. It used the word we're consistent with the intent of the state plan. It never mentioned anything about these discouraging new development or intensive new development. That analysis was not in your redevelopment plan. Well, that horse left the barn, but the answer is in my opinion, you have the right in appropriate circumstances to say, wait a minute, this is too fundamental to grant preliminary approval, for example, to phases 2, 3, and 4, without knowing what DEP is going to do with this. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of money. You, in my opinion, just reading the state law, have the ability to say, first of all, I think it applies as to phase 1, because again, this plan has been vacant for a while. We don't know what's really involved with the upgrading of it. This is such a fundamental part of this application that the sewage effluent can be treated safely. And again, it doesn't affect Homedale just, it affects a larger area. It is within your power, in my opinion, and it makes planning sense to say, go get your DEP approval ahead of time. And once you get that, then you have reliable information to say whether you want to approve phases 1, 2, 3, and 4. But you don't know the answer right now. This is a unique situation. It's an exotic plant. And the answer is, in my opinion, it is so fundamental to this application that you should not be granting rights to the applicant through either preliminary approval or preliminary and final approval.
Now, we've gone back and forth with regard to this several times, and everybody acknowledges that you've got to go to the DEP for approvals, do they not? The applicant as well as the objector.
Yes, everyone is on the same page on that issue.
Okay, fine. Now, is there a difference or is there a distinction when an applicant goes before the DEP for a renewal of an existing approval as compared to coming in with for a new application?
Well, the applicant is trying to rely on past conditions. And again, it depends upon the documentation sent to DEP, whether they can rely on past conditions. But clearly, the testimony is when you get to at least phases 3 and 4, and maybe 2, 3, and 4, is it's going to outstrip, in all likelihood, the 40,000 gallon per day.
It's always a sensitive subject, but there's continual reference here to the use of the word sewage. What does sewage mean?
What goes down the drain.
Okay.
Whether you have an office building or an assisted living facility, the answer is when you have a single-family house, there are certain limitations because it's all in-ground septic systems, but this is too big. This requires special state permits because of the scale of this operation. And again, what's unusual here is you're not like in a large sewer service area where you could maybe, pump up to another treatment system, even in another town. This is an island, this sewer service area. So what is going to happen here in terms of growth and producing sewage effluent has to be treated within this area. In my opinion, you're not going to be able to pump it to another municipality.
Let me ask you this. What prejudice is there to an applicant if the board says we're going to send it to the DEP to determine whether or not they're entitled to a renewal or this calls for a new application?
Well, the law allows it. Again, the language in the municipal land use law, it says in appropriate circumstances. I can't think of a more appropriate circumstance. If someone came to you and said, I'm going to do 600 dwelling units here, and I don't know yet where I'm going to have a sewage treatment plant or do spray irrigation, but just approve it anyway. You would say, That's too speculative. We want to know what's going on to protect the public health and safety. You don't know what the answer is, especially for phases 2, 3, and 4.
I know that I'll be criticized for saying this, but isn't the word speculative a little bit synonymous with the word maybe?
I'm not going to answer that.
Thank you. I have no.
Well, I will say I do have that section up of the municipal law, and it says exactly what I've been saying all along, that we can approve any application contingent upon subsequent, that in those conditions, subsequent to approvals from the regulating agencies, which is what we've been saying since day one.
Well, that's why it started out with the 3 words, in appropriate circumstances.
Yeah, well, it starts off in the event of a developmental proposed by an application for development requires an approval by a government agency other than the municipal agency, we could make it a condition, which means the opposite would mean we don't have to make it a condition of our approval. We are making it a condition of their approval in accordance with the municipal land law.
You have the power to do it, but in my opinion,
Well, I'm just saying, what is the, forget
Please,
opinions,
can
what
you
does the
can you
law say?
respond to your question, please?
You have the power to do it, but in my opinion, the intent of the law, by that phrase, in appropriate circumstances, you have to make a judgment based on the facts presented in front of you. And in my opinion, there is too much in the air, and on top of that, what's not in the air is the new state plan. It says don't encourage development here.
All right, whatever. Okay, anyone, you have any questions? Go ahead.
Or Kate.
Kate, you want to respond to any of that, Kate?
I don't have a microphone. I don't really have much to say, because again, this is a variance-free application. Just that first of all, this development on this site, existing development, precedes the original state plan. This we've heard, this has been a developed site for many, many years. And if you read the actual, I did not prepare the redevelopment plan, but having read it, the intention of the comment that Mr. Steck is stating, it says, consistent with the state plan's intentions, this plan promotes the revitalization of the existing building, providing limited new development and protecting existing environmentally sensitive resources and preserving large contiguous areas of open space. So I just want to say that I don't think that was dodged. The second is that the state plan is advisory. And Mr. Steck, the state plan has no authority over NJDEP's decisions, correct?
You're right, it's not the law, but it is an official statement of New Jersey state policy. And if you're telling me that DEP can ignore the plan, then why even have a state plan?
Thank you.
Yeah. My understanding is that the DEP, this is not typically, it's not something they're required to consider, and unaware of that
The
fact.
whole intent was to limit development and to go from 104 units to add 299 additional developments is not limiting development, in my judgment.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, well, let me just ask you, is there anything in the municipal land use law that says that we have the right to ask for approvals prior to approval of the application?
Yes,
Where is that?
I just read it.
No,
In
it doesn't say
appropriate
that. I'm looking at it right now. No, it says in appropriate circumstances, we have the right to make it contingent upon them receiving subsequent approval.
I stand by the plain language of the municipal land use law.
As do I. Okay, anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, I just have one more comment to that, which is that, Mr. Steck, does the board, as part of the final part of that section 22, the board has, they have other regulations that they have to take place in, right? They have to be in the context of the MLUL, correct?
Yes.
So, okay. So it doesn't stand on its own.
Right. Okay. Anyone else have questions? Counselor?
You
Wes.
referenced planning area 5. How many planning areas are there, and what does that mean?
The state plan has a lot of text, and it has a colored map. And it has 5 planning areas, and there's some sub-areas. So one is urbanized areas where the state likes to have growth, and 2 is typically adjacent areas. Again, these are growth areas. The state policy is to allow new development to occur in these areas. 3 is suburbanizing areas. They're a little bit further outside. 4 is environmentally sensitive. 4 and 5 are both, I'll call them limited growth areas. So you look at the map, this site is colored green, and it's the same category as applies to barrier islands in New Jersey. And the policy is to limit new growth and to only have sewer service in centers, areas that are designated to be clusters of development, and to rely on existing infrastructure. This, again, is an unusual site, and someone could, under the plan, say, well, okay, you can use the existing building. Yes, it might require a new development because it's clearly a new use with different characteristics, residential rather than offices. But when it says the state wants the limited growth, how do you accommodate the 299 additional units that are in new buildings? That's not limiting development.
The planning area 5 then is the most environmentally sensitive number.
That's correct. It's the area that the state of New Jersey wants to protect the most and discourage growth.
So is that what this is about, discouraging growth? Okay, anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I don't even know where to start. I'll just make a few brief comments. As the board planner noted, and nobody disagreed with, the state plan is advisory. It's something that municipalities and other entities, the county, when they're planning, doing master plans, ordinances, that should be considered. And it was. It's in the redevelopment plan. As indicated, the plan is in effect. It was adopted. It was prepared by the council. It was reviewed and approved by this board, including many members who are sitting up here today, and it's in effect. So the discussion about trying to end run the master plan because he doesn't like the way they use terminology referencing the state plan is completely without merit. Additionally, Mr. Streck's favorite word tonight was exotic. And in my opinion, the most exotic thing we've heard tonight is his interpretation of Section 22B of the municipal land use law. We all know what it says. We all know what it is. That is an exotic view of it, and this board is well aware of its legal obligations. And again, this is a 100% conforming plan, and planning testimony is irrelevant in this matter. Thank you.
Anyone else here? No one? No one else? Oh. All right, well, thank you, sir. Okay, we're good. Yeah. Are you finished with your witnesses? Okay. All right, so I guess, what do we do?
So you have two things. We have discussed a site visit and you have public comment too.
Right. Okay, well, we're not going to get the public comment today. So let's pick a date. Well, we might be able to start, but we're going to have a hard stop at 10 o'clock, but we'll see. When do we want to have this?
Site visit.
As soon as possible.
So you discuss the site visit?
Yeah, let's decide it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well-
Check your calendars.
So,
Counselor,
just so everyone knows, we're discussing, a motion was made at the last meeting to have a site visit, so the board has to discuss a date for the site visit. That's what we're doing now, to discuss a date.
I'd like to do it as
Excuse
soon
me,
as
if
possible.
you have a site visit, I take it the respective attorneys can be present at that site visit?
This attorney will not be there, nor do I believe the applicant's attorney, but there'll be conditions to sign a waiver. You can show up if you want, but
Okay.
no other, obviously you can't ask questions.
That's okay.
You know
But
the
I'll
rules.
be advised of the date.
You'll be advised tonight.
we're going to tell you right now when the
Okay,
date is.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, and I spoke with the board attorney about this, and I just respectfully want to put it on the record, but again, we will agree to the site visit. It is my understanding it is this board's policy that when there is a site visit, not only the board professionals attend, but also the public is invited. We object to the public being invited, as I think the law is clear that it is for the board's edification if they need to see the site to make a decision, as the board is the one who makes the decision, not the public. The public
Everyone,
should
please be quiet.
the public should be excluded. However, I just wanted to put that on the record to preserve my objection, since it's the board's policy and the board's wish that the public be able to attend the site visit. We will allow it as indicated. We will prepare, and we ask that it be posted on the website, that there's a waiver form for board members, board professionals, and any member of the public who wishes to attend that needs to be signed and completed prior to accessing the property, and they'll be collected at the property before the site inspection it continues. We're available. I understand the board, and granted, I know everyone is a volunteer, and appreciate what you folks put yourself through as volunteers. That we would do this on a weekend. It's tough enough for you folks to get here on a weeknight, let alone ask you to take a day off of work. So I think Saturday is probably preferable to everyone than a Sunday, but either this Saturday or Sunday or next Saturday or Sunday is amenable to the applicant, whatever is the board's pleasure.
Well, I'd like to see it as soon as possible. So this Saturday, if the other board members have no problem with it, I'd like to expedite this.
17th.
Yes.
17th.
Turn your mic on, Joyce.
I would like to expedite this as soon as possible. So this Saturday would be fine, the 17th.
Check with,
Time.
They need time to prepare, so it would be up to them.
Thank you. I appreciate that, board member. Please, what time of day do you think it would be best to start the site visit? I think we should just go from there. We can be ready by Saturday.
Like 10, 11?
I don't know what's convenient for all the board members.
Joyce, first, make sure all the board members,
That's
it's good for everybody, yes? I see
okay.
one, yes,
Brendan,
yes.
Mr. Bell?
What about time? I'm available Saturday. What about time of day for you?
Know that Saturday.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion.
And
Saturday the
professionals
7th.
available, just in
What
case?
time will that be?
Professionals, are they available? Do we know? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Flegg, are you available as well?
I typically do not go, because there's no questions, or is this,
I
if you want me
if-
there, I'll be there.
I would prefer, because as you're aware, whether the case law provides that the board members should not be discussing the applicant or talking to anybody else. They can certainly ask questions of clarification,
Wear
you
my
know,
police hat?
is this a location or something like that? Well, no, and I apologize for imposing your Saturday, Marty.
Well, I'm
You've
around,
been-
I'm around.
I think it's safest for all of us if you do attend. I certainly will be in attendance.
I'm around.
Thank you very much, Marty.
Okay, then my motion is Saturday, the 17th at 11 a.m. Oh, January.
I'll second that. I'll second that.
Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
Mr. Vanderham?
Yes.
Mr. Fagan?
Yes.
Mr. Mon?
Yes.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes.
Mr. Bell? Ms. Plausas?
Yes.
Mr. Silberman?
Yes.
And Mr. Dors. Motion passed. For the record, site visit for 23 Main Street will be conducted on January 17th at 11 a.m. Thank you.
Can we let
Wes?
the board know, I
Sorry,
mean, the
can-
members of the audience know that, that at an on-site hearing, only the board members are permitted to speak. There will be no questions from the audience. There will be no comments from the audience. Only members of the planning board will be able to speak and address the professionals. And I want to make that perfectly clear. No response from anybody.
And Joyce, further, when we come back on the 27th, the board will put its findings on the record, and that, we will have public comment that night, so anybody can make a public comment based on the testimony or the site visit, but there's going to be no back and forth questioning of the professionals. So, Wes, it may be helpful to the applicant. You're the one who made the motion originally. Are there areas that you want to see that, so we're not just walking aimlessly around?
Yeah, and I also want to make sure people know this isn't an opportunity to you know,
Tour the building.
tour the whole site and go rummaging through the woods and all that other stuff.
We go to the site, we look at what we're supposed to look at, and we leave. If the board has questions, we ask them, nobody else. That's what an on-site is.
That's right.
Certainly, the lagoon,
I just want to make sure the applicant's attorney is listening so he can.
I'm trying to recall the things I outlined. Spray area.
Also, Marty, if we can let the audience know where people can park.
Carl will have to tell us.
Yes, so,
So I can
sorry to
post that on the
interrupt.
website.
So what we'll do is we'll provide you with the waiver and a map showing where to park.
Perfect, thank you.
Maybe, Carl, on that map, if you can show those 2 areas that Wes just asked for.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I heard the spray area, and what was the other area, Mr. Fagan?
The lagoon?
The lagoon, yeah, we'll make sure that we bring you by there, and there was a revised plan submitted to aggregate all the issues through the other sets of plans that you had raised, Mr. Fagan, so it is shown on the plan, it's fenced in, but we'll make sure we tour that area, both of those areas, the spray field and the existing plant. If there's any other areas in particular that you know in advance, but if, comes up the existing facilities there, we can certainly, look at that if you'd like. But aside from those 2 areas, if there's anything else, let us know.
The stormwater discharge to stream?
Yes, we put a flag up there to actually highlight that for you. It's in the field already.
My understanding is there's discharge to the stream now. In other words, there's some type of piping that goes from the plant directly to the stream.
Yeah, like I said, we anticipated that one, and we put a flag already out in the field for you.
Have you seen the 4 test wells?
They're noted on the plans. I think we'll be able to flag those for you as well.
I looked for them on the plans. I didn't see them, but
Yeah,
they're...
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mr. Fagan. It's on one of the topo plans, and it's kind of hard to see with some of the topo, but we'll flag those as well. Anything.
And maybe, Carl, if you're a professional, it might be wise to do it, like, for lack of a better term, in order. The easiest order, so everyone's not roaming around different areas at the same time. Let's keep everyone in the same areas together.
Yeah, we'll figure that out, but just from the top of my head, where the parking areas, we'll probably do the spray field first
Doesn't
and then
matter which
walk
way.
counterclockwise to the other areas Mr. Fagan just referenced.
tour, it won't be people
Right.
just, everyone in order, so.
Right,
Yeah, well, we'll try to figure out the most efficient way to do that for everybody.
rain or shine?
Rain or shine,
I checked
yes.
the weather, it's shine.
Shine.
Snow.
Okay,
There's a question in the
There's no,
no, we're not, there's no questions, and we're gonna postpone. Excuse me? It'll all be posted.
yeah.
The public's not invited.
No, that's not true. Public is invited.
The public is invited. Will the press be allowed as well?
Why not?
They're part of the public.
Yeah, I mean, are they part of the public? So they'd be invited.
Just want to be sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want, sure. Just letting you know, we're done in 12 minutes.
So are we opening for public comments then?
No, public
No.
comments will be next meeting.
Is there a question?
We gotta get that microphone,
Questions
sir,
from-
where, I don't know where it ended up.
Right there.
I wouldn't wanna get it either.
Peter Franco, 5 Hotbrook. All right, I'd just like to ask our PE if he can answer a question about the lagoon. I speak into the mic, I'm sorry. I'd like to ask you a question about the lagoon and all the wastewater from the treatment plant it was very, very highly contaminated with fecal, core flume, and everything else. All right, if that is piped directly into the lagoon during the summer months, all right, we have noticed that those levels went up probably a couple million gallons of water in that lagoon. Now, during the time of the summer, it's allowed to stay there, it's stagnant, all right? There are many things that are gonna grow in there, including stuff that cause Legionnaire's disease and cholera and stuff like that. All right, I'm worried not only of the immersion of that, the evaporation, the droplets that are gonna be scattered from that material. Right next door into, number one, the homes that are being built right next to this place. all right, with the biofilm and everything else that's going to be produced by this, what can we do to prevent that, as far as you know?
You gotta get on a mic, sir.
Move the system. I mean, that's.
But the,
I mean,
yeah, I'm sorry.
the system should be moved, you know, out of that area.
So you're saying that you want to know what you can do to the existing system?
Yeah, that they plan on using.
The existing system has to be maintained, has to be dug out, has to be monitored. It has to be, allow the percolation. It has to be properly maintained.
They didn't give us a plan.
There should be a operation and maintenance plan for every wastewater treatment plant. I've never, I haven't seen it out, you know, I don't know if it was required in 1977, you know.
All right, during the maintenance of that, during the maintenance of the lagoon, they're required to scarify it. All right, which means to get all the sludge out and loosen the bottom so they can regain percolation. Which, by the way, there's almost no percolation right now. According to all the aerials I've seen, when the plant wasn't even in use, there was a high level of water. And my suspicion is that through the valving of that existing lagoon, they can open up a valve and drain the lagoon into the creek without anybody knowing about it. And I suspect it has been done because we've seen the level drop recently in the past 2 months from where there was a level that was maintained and now all of a sudden there isn't. So I think during the site, is it possible for us to take a look at the valving and make sure there's a way to prevent that backflow from the lagoon into the system?
The applicant will show us where it is, and
All right.
I could be part of the site visit, I'll see it.
Okay, now, I'm worried that this can be another problem with that. I'm worried that this is going to be another problem, because either maliciously or just to avoid summonses with the height of the lagoon, or to avoid
Mr.
the...
Franco, please try and ask questions.
All right, that
you know.
this could be a problem, and we'd have to look into it. The last question I'm going to ask you is, with the irrigation, it's going on the lawn areas, all right, the ground gets saturated, okay, number one, should there be an under-drain design to get that water back into the lagoon so it doesn't run over on the streets? Or from the way I see the grading, which I think everybody will see on the inspection, that the way it's graded right now by the helipad and around the tennis courts, it's gonna run right back into the stream without going into the lagoon.
I can only say the one spray irrigation system that I designed did have an underdrain.
So in other words, they would well, that would be the state again, they're gonna put it off to the state. All right, but lastly, there is not one plan that we've seen as of yet on what their intention to do is to repair that existing plant. Are they gonna use any reverse osmosis? Are they gonna use the membrane that should be required to filter out all the backs and phosphorus? And by the way, did you see the report I gave you with the phosphorus going over 1,100% over what is allowed?
Yes.
The fecal content going over 882% over the allowable amount?
Yes, I saw that.
But it's grandfathered, so I guess it's all right. Okay. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. I think you're making a big mistake.
Right, comment.
We're the guys next door.
You
It's
can
not a
say that
comment.
for 2 weeks,
I'm
Mr.
asking you
Franco.
something. All right. The question is, what's gonna stop, all right, the aerosols or of the bacteria from blowing over?
Hopefully there'll be some sort of screening system, either natural, you know, plants or some fencing with membrane on it or something to that effect. But you're not going to be able to stop everything, depending on the wind blows. I mean, the wind blows, you know, like we get down here at the Jersey Shore, it'll blow.
The other question I have for you is during the initial digestion or the initial, after it goes through the equalization process, aeration is introduced to it. All right, now there are pumps inside that main building. Would you say 1,000 CFM? Is anybody here qualified to tell me, an engineer or something? How many CFM is going in that building to induce? All right, if it's 1,000 CFM, which I suspect, that means you're gonna have
Sir, we just need, we just need questions right now. It's,
You're going to have 60,000 CFM, cubic foot per minute, of agitated waste emission, with all the emissions coming up out of it and getting blown. What's gonna prevent that?
Can't comment on that, I'm sorry.
Aren't all the new plants now covered?
Yes.
Okay, and that air filtered? It costs a lot of money, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, is that why they're not doing it?
all right.
Osmoplasmosis, the reverse, I'm sorry, I can't say it.
Reverse osmosis.
Osmosis, why isn't that gonna be utilized, do you know?
I don't know.
The same reason, that would cost them $2 million. Okay,
can't comment
so
on
they have stuff that, what I'm saying, there is a way for them to get the water to comply where everybody will be happy in this room? Would you say, guys?
You can
Okay.
design a
All right.
system to treat anything.
Thank you.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
guys, thank you.
Thank you. No, there's questions, right?
Absolutely questions. Only
Please,
questions.
we got 3 minutes,
I
and
have,
then I'm shutting you down.
I have 4 minutes until 10 o'clock.
No, you have 3 minutes for your questions, sir.
10 o'clock, correct? Thank you. I just have some questions for the applicants, for the engineers.
First of all, calm down. State your name and your address.
Respectfully, my name is Adam Heidi. I live in Jackson, New Jersey. Formerly, I am on the Environmental Commission in town, but I'm here as a concerned resident because we all share the
Okay,
same
all I need is
aquifer.
your name and your
Great,
address.
thank you.
Okay.
For the attorneys or the engineers, this plan, is it complete? Is this a complete site plan that the board is reviewing?
It's questions of the witnesses tonight.
Is this a complete site plan?
My review, no, it's not.
Why would can the board legally
We've been through this, sir.
approve?
They don't have to do the plan at this point in time.
Do you have a
We've been through
certified
this.
plan? do you
You're
have a
asking the
certified
same
plan?
question.
Excuse me, I'm speaking.
No, excuse me, I'm speaking.
Do you have a certified plan
Put
from
the-
the Ocean County Soil, from the Freehold County Soil District? Do you have a certified plan from the county?
What testimony I heard is they have not submitted anything to the.
Sir.
Okay,
Sir,
so
sir,
state law,
sir.
hold on.
No, sir. The meeting's run by the board, not by you.
My
You may
apologies.
ask, you have 3 minutes to ask this witness or the other 2 witnesses any question that they testified to. But you can't tell the board what to do. Please, don't do that. It's
My
disrespectful.
apologies. I don't mean to disrespect you. I believe state law supersedes local law, correct?
It usually does.
Isn't it correct that state law mandates for major site plans to have a certified plan from the county soil?
Yes.
Does the applicant currently have a certified plan from the county?
No.
Would you like me to read the statute that states the board cannot approve a plan without that certification? Can you confirm or deny? Can you confirm or deny that the chair said if somebody has any legislation or an ordinance that would provide ground to potentially halt an application, please bring it forward?
Yes, I heard that.
Okay. Do you think I have enough time to bring that forward?
2 minutes.
There's
Okay.
1 minute.
Are you familiar with Chapter 251 NJSA 424-39? Okay, well, this is New Jersey Soil Erosion and Sediment Control Law, and it states that an applicant for major site plan needs to have a certified plan from the county soil district. Can you confirm one more time? Does this applicant have a certified plan from the county soil district?
Not at this time.
So would the board be granting an approval and or a denial for something, for a prerequisite that has not been met by state law?
You've heard testimony that the applicant will apply for all these permits. That's all I can say.
Can the board grant approval
He
or
answered your
denial?
question. All right.
I mean,
He
Are
can't
you-
answer it. He can't, that's his answer is he can't answer it.
Okay. Are you familiar
He
with
can't
soil
answer
erosion
it.
laws?
You're not here
You're
to
not
question
allowed
us.
to ask us. You can't ask him
Mr.
questions either,
Attorney.
sir.
Sir, you're done.
You're done. Sit down, please. Sit down. We got, it's 10
With all-
o'clock.
with all due respect, look at the law. You're gonna get in trouble legally.
Thank you.
You're
Coun-
voting
thank you,
on something
Counselor.
that you
All
don't
right,
have.
Thank you. No, please, you can sit down.
You know the election's coming up, right?
Yeah, you know I'm not elected, right? Moron. Idiot. No, it's 10 o'clock. You can't ask the questions of the board. Then it's nothing to do with Vonage, there's no question. If it's not about, listen, it's 10 o'clock at night, if nothing to do with this application, it's not going to be heard.
Anne Marie.
I will explain to you after the meeting.
It's on the website. Questions of the, we're only doing questions of their.
Well, it's 10 o'clock, so if they have more questions of their witness, they're going to have to bring them back and do it next time. So we're going to make a motion.
Why don't you ask how many more questions? 'Cause if there's
Well,
only one.
How many people have questions here?
Of the.
Is it just one?
Of the applicants.
Of the applicants.
Objectors, witnesses.
Only. You spoke already, sir.
Okay, there's only one more. Why don't we finish, I would suggest.
Doesn't matter, it's 3 minutes.
I would suggest you finish with Mr. Just finish, he's the last one. Let's
Mr. Jin, no, I think, all right, Mr. Jin, if you keep it quick. Mr. G, I'm sorry, right? It's Kim G, right? Yeah, Kim G, yeah, sorry.
Since the chairman's not familiar with my name, I'll make sure I'll get it for the record. It's Kim G, and I reside at 8 Say Street here in Homedale. Mr. Gazarovski, one of your earlier expert witness had testified that in the wastewater management plan, that there is either provision or something or language there that says that the township committee has the authority on wastewater disposal. Is that correct? Okay, I'm sorry. Do you want to?
So you got to get on the record, sir. Yeah.
So I realized that earlier there's some back and forth.
The township has
I'm sorry, go ahead.
authority on the wastewater management plan.
Okay, so no, not to be technical, but my question is, within the plan, isn't there is there some language that you had testified that the township committee, I believe I heard, has the authority for wastewater management design or something to that
Not
effect?
design.
Well, you can't say you have the authority for the plan within the plan, do you?
My interpretation of that 2002 is the township can designate where they want the wastewater facilities and how they want the water discharged.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. So I know that that's the township committee, I believe you said.
Correct.
And I know that earlier there's a lot of back and forth that this is obviously not the township committee, although one member here is on the township committee, that this is the planning board. But does that authority that is stated in the wastewater plan, does that have any extension or implication for the planning board?
I can't answer that. That's
Okay.
that's
So
one
let
thing.
me ask a different question then. So the planning board does have authority to say a particular application is consistent, not inconsistent, or inconsistent with either the master plan or certain elements of a master plan. Is that correct?
Yes, in my opinion, that they can say it does not meet the wastewater master plan and can recommend facilities be moved and discharges, to be consistent with that plan.
So let me just clarify that one last point then. You're saying that because it is part of that wastewater master plan and that there's some language in there that he certainly give the township committee certain authority, and that's part of the master plan, that the planning board in fact has authority to actually insist for application where the location or the site of a wastewater plant. Is that correct?
That's my opinion, yes.
That's your opinion, okay. So, okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. So there's no more questions? We're good? Is it about this application to those witnesses?
That's not a question.
That's not a question. You can ask Irina afterwards. Well, then, you can announce it afterwards. Anyone else have a question, these witnesses? No, you spoke already. Anyone else? We're going to close public questions? No. So make a motion to close?
We just have to carry application till 27th?
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Okay, so we're going to, and that's when we'll have public comment?
Yes.
You have a question? Right, come up, make. You have 3 minutes, sir, so please.
My name is Paul Horman. I'm a resident of Homedale.
Get on the mic, please, and please make it a question. Get on the mic.
My name is Paul Horman. I'm a resident of Homedale, and
Address?
I'm a chief engineer. Address
Address.
183 Everett Road. I'm a chief engineer, steam diesel, any horsepower ships, graduate of Merchant Marine Academy.
Wait, just please.
Question based on my experience of sewer plants is, have you seen the results and testing of this sewer plant? Mr. whatever your name is.
Sir,
Ed?
the questions are of the objectors' witnesses that were presented tonight.
Well, he interacted with it.
No, that's not how it
He
works.
didn't testify directly.
Let's see. Where's the guy with the mustache? He seems to know some technical knowledge. Do you know if that sewer plant has been recently tested and accepted? How long ago? I don't know. You don't know. So my opinion is, because I've installed
Sir, we're
many
not
sewer
asking for your
plants-
opinion. If it's a question, otherwise.
Yes, okay. Mr. Attorney, do you believe that sewer
Sir,
plants...
he's not a witness. He's not, so if you
Okay,
please direct.
Mr. Witness with the
You have
mustache.
3 options, and you got 1 minute.
Do you believe that a sewer plant has to be tested periodically to prove it's working? No, this gentleman behind you.
I understand, and it's already on the record, that they have to have a licensed operator, and that operator has to file periodic reports.
Yes, I agree, and I don't believe, because the place has been vacant and they're pumping raw sewage into a pond and they're piping it into a brook directly, from what I'm hearing from one of the witnesses here, that plant is certified and properly operated.
Sir, is
At
that
this
a-
point.
is that a
Listen,
question?
And is that correct?
I understand that the plant is not currently in operation, but I have no firsthand knowledge.
So what happens to the sewage when there's no plant in operation?
I don't know the sewerage is going to the plant at the moment. I don't know.
Is there any watchman or anybody in that plant?
Sir, if I may, Chairman, the property is vacant. There's nobody on it. There's no sewage being generated.
Okay. Thank you for the answer. You're not a witness, but thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm really upset with this board by not cooperating, because my family, my children...
I don't need your comments, sir.
Well, I
Please.
do. My
Well-
family needs clean water.
Okay.
And there's no question as far as building properties, but there's a
Sir.
question on the quality of water.
Sir.
And I'm a resident,
All
and I'm
right,
going to make sure my friends all know what happened here. This is my first time at a meeting. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we do?
Motion
So, if that was the final we're going to close public questions now. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Connolly?
Yes.
Mr. Vanderham?
Yes.
Mr. Fagan?
Yes.
Mr. Mon?
Yes.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes.
Mr. Bell? Ms. Plausas? Mr. Silberman?
Yes.
Mr. Dorse. Application 23 Main Street, Vonage, will be carried without further notice for January 27th.
I want to make a motion to close the meeting.
I make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good night.